Hello and welcome to the All In podcast. It's the return of the LCS. Um, we didn't do our podcast like pretty much the whole year. Yeah, with the merger to the LTA, but back and so is yes. How are you doing? Are you excited? Crazy.
Of course, man. I mean, Worlds is always like, no matter what's going on throughout the year, the ups and the downs, like Worlds just always brings back all the good feelings. So I'm super excited about it. There's been an insane amount of good games so far, and the storylines have also been top tier. So I think for the most part, uh, we actually got to a point where I was like, okay, I was like a lot less involved in esports this year because I was super busy, but I always make time for Worlds.
Yeah, same. I always make time for Worlds as well, and I also think like this year was a bit demotivating in general to watch entirety for like LTA, LCS, just because of all that drama. But maybe we shouldn't talk about all the LTA and LCS, all its craziness, even though this is like an NA based podcast, and let's just focus on Worlds because it's
Mhm.
been crazy. Um, you're at after the semifinals, so the whole Swiss stage is done, all of quarterfinals are done, all of semifinals are done, and we know who the finals results are, or who is going to be in the finals. Um, yeah, where do you want to start? What's like a team do you want to talk about? Do you want to start from the beginning and talk a little bit about Swiss stage and NA's involvement? You just touch on it a little bit.
Yeah, I think we can just start from the beginning. I mean, even NA aside, this year around they had an interesting format where they had the fourth seed from LPL and LCK just go at it. So we had IG and T1 play for the fourth spot. I think that as far as Worlds goes, this was one of the more insane matchups of all time because this is like theoretically this is the worst teams from both regions. But we've got names like okay, everyone knows T1, it's the usual suspects, Owner, Faker, Gumayushi, and Keria, and then they added Doran this year. That's the only difference. But IG, since not everyone watches until the main event, this was one of the best in terms of like interesting, fun narrative matches of the whole tournament. IG has the Shy again. They've got Rookie and they've got Gala in 2025. And I think that's just insane. I think the matchup Wei was also there in Mako. So actually all of these people are legendary players. All have won international tournaments representing the LPL. And some of them are the best of their role at some any given time. So I will say, if you do go back and watch the match, there will be ints. These guys are not all prime form. I think Rookie played really well. I think the Shy in lane was good, and then he let's just say that the Shy is exactly who he was when we stopped seeing him at internationals, and I kind of love it, kind of hate it. And
Yeah.
then Gala is still one of the best AD carries. I think. I think it's actually a huge shame. So that will actually tie into comments I have later. But yeah, that's what I have. I think that's the initial stages, and then for group stages, is there anything you wanted to highlight?
Just yeah, I wanted to look back a little bit at that fourth place match. It is interesting that like T1 starting there and IG starting there, and they're both supposed to be like the weakest team of their region. But kind of like looking back now from where we are at the rest of the tournament, that's obviously not the case. So it kind of makes you wonder what IG's actual power level is, and it kind of makes you wonder how um how do you like the change of adding like replacing the entire play-ins and putting the fourth match in, having it be like instead of usually it might be between NA and EU or a lower tier region and one of the Western regions. Instead, it's between the top two regions. Instead, pretty interesting choice, right? So, do you like it? What would you think about it?
I think it's mixed. I think that what I liked about it is that play-ins traditionally is like less viewership. It's kind of like a soft opening to the tournament. We all know that the LCK and LPL 4 seeds are gonna stomp through it. There is a little drama. Sometimes they might lose a match or two, but like that just never changes basically. And so I think cutting that out and just getting straight to the meta worlds made it more high quality on average. However, I also think it's really silly the limitations to the number of teams invited to worlds. And what I mean by that, like it's the most obvious for LPL. IG going out with a roster like that. Like, can you imagine? This is the first time we got to see rookie versus faker for like in a decade almost. And
Long time, yeah.
there's all these matchups that could have happened, right? We could have seen Rookie versus Chovy. We could have seen all these matchups throughout Swiss. And for some reason, we just like decide we just don't have enough space for all these sick teams to play against each other. And it extends to other regions too. Other regions have more than, 2 or 3 teams. So I don't like that it's there because not just the quality of games, it's there. It feels like because they want to get it over with almost like the early stages. Play-ins used to be a place for like teams to show their stuff, warm up, start to ramp up for the tournament, and now it's just completely gone. So saves time, but I don't think for the right reasons.
All right, interesting take. I do think that it started off the tournament with like a really hype, exciting match, but like I also agree that it's kind of sucks that the LPL 4 seed doesn't get to play the rest of the, especially when it was like such a good team like IG, right? So yeah, I mean mixed bag. I think in the past, right, normally the 4 seed for both the top tier regions are gonna make it through play-ins, and they would be in the tournament, and it'd be replaced by like one team from the LCP wouldn't be there maybe, like TSW wouldn't have made it, or
Mhm.
like VKS wouldn't have made it, or something like that, or some of the other regions, like maybe an NA team or EU team would make it, right? So they just forcefully essentially made it so that one top Eastern,
Top-
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, it's like the top 8, at least one non-Asian team would be, well, not Asian, even just LCK, LPL, because I guess LCP could have taken the spot.
yeah.
So it is, in that sense, it's also very artificial.
Yeah, I guess the tournament is also designed, like Swiss in itself is designed to kind of allow the best chance for a Western team or a non, like it's gonna RNG let some team, right? This year was G2, a little bit of CFO. Last year was FlyQuest, right? They kind of just get like RNG, like energy before, right? They get a bit lucky with their draws. They only draw other Western teams and they make it out into quarters. I think Swiss does that by design. Does it feel artificial in that you're like not getting the actual best 8 teams? Yeah, a little bit, but I don't know. Is that a good or bad thing? I do think it's better for entertainment value, like better for participation. Like,
Yeah, and I think this year with Fearless again, we always talked about, and I have a lot to say about Fearless as well since we've seen a whole year of it. I do agree with you though. It has to be entertaining. I think entertaining is just like the part where I get annoyed is like, I mean, you have a team like IG coming in, right? And they didn't know beforehand when they made the format, but I'm like, no, it's just annoying. I want to see them in the tournament. If it means that there's like a longer bracket, if there's double even whatever all this stuff is, that makes it more entertaining. Now, if given all the time constraints we have and all the resource constraints they have, yeah, this is probably the most entertaining way they could do it. Swiss was sick this year, as it was every year. It was dumb, but it's like fun and dumb, which I enjoy.
yeah, I do think it's interesting that in the first year of Fearless, we still had best of ones. Um, but that's where it's like it's the fun thing, right? It's the exciting thing. It's the best format to allow upsets. It's quick, and you get to see multiple teams in one day, right? So I understand why they keep best of ones. Um, I don't know, like, did you catch this? I randomly caught this. Mark Z actually did a stream for I think FlyQuest G2, and he talked about some
Mhm.
of the format stuff, and I peeked in. He was actually quite drunk during it. Funny. And
That's not how I expected this combo to go, but yeah,
no, you
continue.
could tell he was quite tipsy, like while he was on stream talking to chat. And I remember Cagel actually was having issues and like was like bugging out and like crashing, so people were coming to Mark Z. Kind of funny. But he was talking about the format and like one of the things that's like super important about the world's format is like the delicate balance between, is it fun? Is it exciting? Do you get to see a large variety of teams? And is it like competitive, but is it also like kind of like a little like lottery-esque, like casino-esque, like people love the draw. And
Mhm.
so like in there were suggestions of like, okay, well what if you made more of the matches best of threes? It's like it just takes too long, right? It kind of loses its flair and its parts in the team. So I don't know what the best format is, but it is an interesting thing to think about. Like, is there ever a format where we add more games, where we make the bracket double elim instead of single elim? I find it hard to see yes because we're already in November and the tournament's still going. It's been a long tournament, you know, it's been a really long tournament. So yeah, I really don't actually have any good suggestions for how to improve. And I've thought about it a lot, so I was curious if you had.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that I agree that there are better ways. There are things we could be doing, and it's super hard to balance. I was just saying in the past, like we were able to get through how many worlds in a row now with wildcard tournament, and then it became the play-in tournament. All that time was taken out, as well as quarterfinals and semifinals were compounded into 1 week, and yet we none of that like we were able to do this for 12, 13 years with a somewhat similar format. And yet this year it was so much shorter, and at that point it feels like it's a discount tournament in terms of time allotted versus like I just think the time at the very least if it's similar to previous years, I don't have as much of an issue with it. But this time around it's like no, we just we got stuff to do, guys, we got bills to pay, and now I'm just like I can't even get into it. Well, actually, I assume if you're watching the podcast, you've seen the results, so there's no such thing as spoilers at this point. But like Gen.G's run, AL, Absolute Legends, like
Yeah.
there or anyone's Legends, not Absolute, anyone's Legends. Like there are so many teams where I'm like, I wanted to see them do a different matchup. I want to see like, is it a fluke? Is it just a one-time thing? Because like even just like Doggo and CFO, I'm like, at first I thought they were bums, and then here we are after the KT game. I'm like, oh wait a minute, actually, I may have judged you a little too harshly. So all of that to say is like because they've raised the quality of teams so much, right? They got rid of so many of the playing teams. The match quality has gone up through the roof. I think there's a demand. I think from every region, everyone wants to see like Worlds has always been. I think this is what Mark Z and Jet always says on their podcasts or their clips. Worlds has always been the best format for at least not best, but it's like very clearly tells you who's first place,
Yeah.
but it does not tell you who's second
Third or
accurately at
fourth.
all.
Yeah, exactly. Because of the random draw. Yeah, types.
No seeding or like seeding's really weak as well.
Yeah, I I do think so. I think just to wrap this discussion up, like
Mhm.
they did lower the time a lot, and they did make it so it'll probably cost less, right? Less time, less people in the venue, like cheaper for the players and teams to live out wherever the venue is and stuff like that. Um, I I don't know. I kind of think it's a overall plus probably for the community. And if they want to make it longer, um, maybe the numbers need to show. Um, there's a whole discussion we could get into LPL viewership. Will it drop after this? I don't know. That's what everybody says every
Oh,
year and stuff like that. The slow failure of the LPL and stuff like that. That is a long conversation though. I I just want to wrap it up and say like for the format that there is enough people talking about making stuff like double elim or making Swiss a bit longer or have different seating. Definitely different seating, I think is a no-brainer, right? Like no team kills it. But to actually add more games and add more matchups, like it's cool in theory, and I think I want it, but would have to see how the format looks. Because I think if we like the quarterfinals was crazy this year. I really liked the do or die kind of feeling of it, but quarterfinals, having it be double elim or not quarterfinals, but MSI double elim was crazy good as well. And I wonder if combining some sort of way, adopting both same tournament would be insane. Um, yeah, we'll see what people come up with. We'll see if they, I think it's a hard question to solve though. Um,
agreed. Well, this conversation will go on every year because we've talked about it forever, and then they did
yeah,
add it to MSI, and yeah, MSI was sick, but so is Worlds, right? For different reasons. So maybe the variety is the best way to do it.
maybe the variety is the best
Unfortunately.
way to do it. This Worlds has been great so far. Let's speaking of Swiss, speaking of LPL, let's just elephant in the room. BLG, they got eliminated in terrible fashion. Oh my god. Um,
Uh,
it's interesting to think about, right? Like, how crazy good was anyone's Legends? AL was so good, but they were like the second slash third ish seed. They got second seed off of their like points or whatever, because
points,
technically
yeah.
there's top esports BLG in the finals. But how insane is that? Like it's the LPL region this year was so baffling. BLG's had a mega collapse, but they still won the region. Top esports is the biggest frauds, sitting in second place, and your actual good team is like your kind of pseudo third seed team that went crazy, had the best series at the whole tournament. and then there's IG losing in the fourth place match to the eventual finalists, and you wonder were they even that bad? Is like the LPL region completely upside down and backwards? But yeah, let's just start. Let's just some context. But like, what's up with BLG? Like, give me some fun thoughts. Give me some interesting takes on BLG.
Yeah, I think okay, so I it's not even a theory, it's not even a crack theory. BLG, I think, literally said that they spent ever since last year's World Finals, they spent this whole time preparing slash researching slash figuring out how to beat Korea this year. And I don't know if that's true or not considering their record, but at the same time, I'm like, I could believe it. They spent all this time in, which is why when they didn't play against the Koreans, they just they flopped on their
Yeah.
way in.
Yeah.
So I think that part is very obvious. I think the other elephant in the room is like this is not the BLG of last year. It's not Shin XUN from last year. It's just like Baytron or Shadow, and it's completely a shit show. Like it's a toss up. Who shows up? It's kind of a shit show either way. They basically, if you didn't watch LPL, which I don't blame you, but if you didn't watch it this whole time, they were mixing between Shadow and Baytron. And Shadow is the same jungler who was on Mad Lions like 5 years ago, whatever, when they were actually quite good and went to Worlds. And every time they switched, there would be like a honeymoon period, everyone calls it. Basically, like, I don't know, the vibes would be good. They'll be like, oh, no pressure. If I really tilt, I can just switch off, right?
Yeah.
Both of them are kind of mediocre. I think Shadow is better in my mind, at least, but he might not be as consistent under pressure. Who knows why they switch?
I agree with
But
that take.
they basically just like did this all the way to winning LPL again. And it was
Yeah.
just, it seemed like nonsense. And it felt like the Cinderella story would end and that this counter logic kind of way of playing things would eventually run out of steam. Unfortunately, it ran out during Worlds.
Ran out. It burned out really, really badly. The worst way possible. I mean, every year at least one LPL team sacrificed, and it's kind of crazy how that happens every year. Um, Other things were very consistent with the LPL this year as well that we'll talk about later on. But I do think it's a testament to how good the players on BLG are because their whole team is collapsing. Their jungle situation is disgusting, but they're still really good. Like their individual mechanics are so crazy. Knight and Elk, even though On is running it down so much, sometimes his plays are godlike. And I think that's like late stage support. Like almost every support player becomes that, except Keria, right? Like think of like Mickey X as well. He became that. Beryl, Hillisang, they all become these crazy inter supports eventually.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's true. Even Mako, like he was in
Mako,
the
yep.
yeah, like these are all legends of the game. And like you would think support is not as mechanically intensive, so therefore you should, be fine with keeping your hands. But no, I feel like they all lose their minds eventually, or they lose their spark, or and to be honest, it is not as mechanically intensive, but there are brief spikes. My theory of support is this. It is definitely the easiest role of all the roles in the game, but the parts where you can be an elite support and the brief spikes in decision making, because you're actually like the initiator with no tanky stats, no gold, and all the pressure, right? You and
Yep.
the jungler, but if you can't do those like clutch Nico engages like Keria did in the moments that matter with no gold, and God, I got to get into Keria later, but it is actually still very mechanically intensive. It's just a whole different skill set. And the other problem is the best players in the world, in terms of just hands and mechanics and skill, usually do not pick support. Just like anyone who's actually played League of Legends and grew up playing League, like very rarely is like your prodigy super carry person playing support as their main role because it's frustrating. It's not the role you can up until you get to high elo. Then once you get to high elo, you can actually carry through it. But there's like a huge period of time where I'm like, do I want to play support in like anywhere between plat to diamond? Absolutely not.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely agree with some of those points. Um, yeah, I think something that really shows with that is like players like Keria and Busio are insane off roll. They're in, like was like a former mid laner. Keria's like genuinely like a really good player in all the roles he really. So I think
Yep.
that's a big deal. That their mechanics are so sharp and um I think when a lot of people role swap to both jungle or support from like let's say mid lane or something, um yeah, their mechanics are just so much better, right? I actually think this is another reason why Perks was such a good ADC immediately when he lane swapped, he swapped, because mid lane is just a much harder role than playing AD carry, and it's different as well. Um, but the mechanics are higher, and when you play both mage and ADC, they're so good. So very interesting. Little tangent there. Um, On was inting his mind. That was kind of like the point, right? Like that was the main
Oh, that's what
topic.
we were talking about.
That's
Yeah,
what we were
it's
talking about before.
support. Supports just they will lose their mind. It is inevitable. Like they just decay
Yeah,
mentally.
exactly. But like, I don't blame him, right? How important is jungle support synergy game? At the highest level, it's very, very important. And when you keep swapping junglers and they both have very fragile mentals, it's hard to live life as a good support. And I still think On is great, but he was off quite a bit. He was getting a lot of flame on the internet. A lot of on
Yeah.
off, yeah. So I think he is still a great player though. I think all the guys on BLG besides the jungle players. So I hope to see him more in the future. I really hope the LPL does not die because they're sick.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Again,
Yeah,
like don't flame a support when their jungler is inting and their team is like literally your jungler is swapping and tilts at the slightest inconvenience. How are you supposed to play as a support? It's basically like saying it's the same, right? If your AD carry is terrible and you're a great support, you're gonna still look bad until like late game engages, right? But you're gonna look bad in lane. You're gonna have less resources to play with. You might be afraid to roam because you're like, okay, if I leave this guy for 1 second, he's dead, right? So totally agree on that. I think On is still a good support, uh, and I don't think he's actually at the point where he's crested that hill and he just becomes an interdog. I hope, because LPL is severely lacking in good supports, as we'll talk about very soon.
yeah,
Uh, I just think that this whole situation was cursed for them. The mental was cursed, and there's also the pressure of playing in China. I think they've played most of their major tournaments where they saw a lot of success anywhere else, right? MSIs, Worlds last year was it in Korea?
yeah.
Yeah,
I,
so
I don't
like
remember actually.
I think it was in Korea, and the year before was in Europe, and then next year will be in America again. So it's
Hey,
all really
I'm
about time.
excited for NA next year. Let's
Dude,
go.
choose the Chase Center again, or Staples Center, or something on the West Coast,
Please,
please.
West Coast. The East Coast sucks. Please, the West Coast. Oh my God, it'd be awesome. I will
but
go
but
anywhere.
anyways, that's how I
Yeah.
feel about BLG. I think that they, if you didn't look at the records, or it just like it was a blur because we're already in semis. BLG lost to
Oh, they lost 100
100
Thieves.
Thieves,
Oh my
who
God.
okay, Dokla played a generational series in this. I have to call it out. Holy moly! Like I think Ben is one of the best top laners of all time. He's not maybe not. It's just very. I think it's like Zeus, him, Keen. They're up there.
Yeah.
But in
Doran?
this series, okay, Dorian actually gets his flowers even. Oh God.
uh,
Oh God.
uh,
I don't want to get
I
into
just
this
no,
though,
I'm sorry I
man.
distracted you. Just keep
No,
talking.
no, you can distract me. It's just
Let it go. Let the
okay.
Doran go.
Anyways, let the trauma go. My therapist will be hearing from me about this.
Or Bill
Anyways,
Bill
Dokla played
Doran.
an insane match on Cyan. I think that Dokla was super consistent. He had really high impact plays. His Cyan was like it's truly one of the best games I've ever seen this man play, and this is his first Worlds. I think that those
The
factors
second world.
together. He said this was his first.
Joklo?
Oh,
He was on NRG.
was he on their team with that run? Oh shit, you're right. That was literally last year.
2 years ago.
Why did they say it was his first Worlds? Maybe it was someone else's. Anyways, the point is he hasn't been to internationals that many times comparative to like Impact or someone, right? From NA.
Yeah.
From NA. Well, so all that to say is I think he played really well. I think Quid had a good game. Like everyone played at or above where I would expect. So like I actually don't think of this game as like BLG was terrible per se, but I do think BLG disrespected them. I think BLG was like getting slight leads. They were slowly like scaling up, and then they completely just like forced plays after plays when they had the map control that they needed to just gather dragons and use Caitlyn traps, Talia wall, and just the power of Rek'Sai to just keep them in a very awkward spot. They just forced fights they didn't need to, and then they got snowballed on. I feel like this was a super disrespectful game.
Yeah, it was very disrespectful. I don't think BLG played like I classify their Swiss stage as being like unserious. They did not take it seriously. They procrastinated like crazy because they thought they could just wipe the floor with NA teams. Which, to be fair, they should. Like,
They should.
they definitely should. But and then also I think NA and like EU because they lost to G, well, right? They just kind of
Yeah,
brought it as well. Like they played seriously. Um, and yeah, I guess I think for T1, they're like one of the few teams that they could play unseriously, which they kind of did, and still win. LG is not that good of a team, especially not in their situation. I do think if you throw that BLG in last year, they did the same thing where they were
they
unserious
did.
and they went
Yeah.
3-2, and it worked out enough because their team was just enough polished and they made it to finals too, right? But they thought they could do the same thing this year. They just weren't good enough. And it was a strategy macro thing. Well, like that was their biggest thing, whereas they were just fighting and inting, not having a plan, very solo queue-esque, and they could not get it together in time because their elimination match was actually against Top Esports, and Top Esports can only play well
Oh
against
my
Chinese
god.
teams.
It's
Top Esports is crazy. Yeah.
no, I agree with you. I was just saying like it, it's crazy that they didn't play a single Korean team. I also agree. You're absolutely on point when you say like, "Hey, these guys like didn't take it seriously. They thought they could breeze through it." I like they didn't play a Korean team that they were preparing for, and then they played against teams that did bring it, did play very well, honestly. And then
Yeah.
at the end of the day, they also just did not. They didn't clutch up what they needed to, and Top Esports, the killer of LPL teams, came in at the like it was actually just like a perfect script because their road they lost to 100 Thieves, they beat Fnatic, who was the worst team maybe at the tournament, but just like truly generationally bad. Um, Actually a disgrace to have this Fnatic team show up. I don't even know if we should waste time speaking about them.
Oh,
Like I
Ray. No,
I
tell
have a
it.
friend who's a Fnatic friend, and she was like, "Okay, what about this year, Kim? What do you think about them?" And I'm like looking at this roster, I'm like, bro, this roster is so cooked. Like Poby is very good, actually, honestly, but it's doesn't matter. It's like there's like decent players everywhere, and there's no synergy. There's no shot calling. Everyone's quiet. Everyone just from the beginning when they drafted Poby, I'm like, if you needed hands and like to replace Humanoid, I agree. You need a replacement to Humanoid that has upside, right? But you need someone who can lead this team. It's not Oscarin. Is Oscarin, and he can't do it. Rezorg is so not a shot caller jungler. You can tell just based on the interviews. He's always been like a little bit more shy, reserved. Like he's good. He's extremely good, actually. I think they should keep him, which I think they will, but not
Oh,
him.
dude.
Oh, the rumors were talking about Oscarin getting replaced, right?
Oh
Is it Razork
no,
too?
I don't know about the rumors. Actually, I just think Razork sucks. I
You think he sucks?
I do think he
Oh,
sucks. I think he has some mechanics here and there. He has no brain though. He engages like cuz he has monkey brain. I see it in junglers all the time. They get a little antsy and they don't look at the map. It just happens repeatedly over and over again. And it's not I don't think like necessarily it's a shot calling thing. I I just think he loses his mind. I think it's like a flapper thing. I think tons of junglers in the world are exactly like I think you could have a guy, you could have like freaking Prime Mata sitting in his ear and support being like, "Hey, so the game plan. We're not gonna do this. We're not gonna run it the fuck down, and we're gonna go to the objective." And he's just gonna engage randomly because the voices in his head tell him to go. I genuinely believe that. I think it's the same for Blabber. Talk about LCS. He did it all year long.
all players that I do not very much like. I
Yeah.
think okay. I do agree that he does get that in his body, and he just can't help himself.
It happens
I,
every single game. Every single time he plays against G2, every single international for the last 3 years. That is what causes Fnatic to lose so many games. We can, I can remember so many times. It's painful. It's so awful.
You're absolutely right about this. My point is like if there was a like well, I always just come back to high a caps, someone to just like do the initiation, to tell him what to do, like someone who can be a leader on the team, then he doesn't need to think. He just needs to be a hands bot, and he has hands. He does jungle fine outside of initiation and being the team leader, right? There's just no leadership on this team. It's like I thought it would be Mickey actually, if anyone. And I guess either he also isn't a shot caller or he just wasn't in the meta for it. Like
Mickey
in this
X
game,
is notoriously actually not talkative. I think he said in an interview, actually, the problem with him and Reckless was neither of them talked. at all. I don't know that, but that was 4 years ago, so it could be different
Oh, yeah,
now.
yeah, the old
Yeah,
G2 roster when he was actually in ADC. I was like,
yeah.
when were they playing together recently? Yeah, this I could believe, but with his level of
Probably gotten better.
experience,
Yeah,
I would think he could at least carry. Then again, it's not that easy. You can't just say, become social, become a leader, get charisma. Like that's not stuff that happens overnight, right? You can grind hands, but the other stuff is like,
yeah.
especially if you're a pro player, which we'll do this like maybe on like an off season topic or something. Pro players are not set up to become leaders or become
There's
like
some like real life drama,
charismatic
some
figures.
real
Yeah,
effed drama that we could talk about. Honestly, that's
Yeah, that
another
that'll be for the
topic.
off season. But
Yeah,
the point is Fnatic was generationally bad. There is talent on this roster, but that doesn't mean shit, right? Like they got stomped. They did not show any signs of life throughout this whole tournament. McCoy stomped them. BLG beat them up with Shadow. Like it was just really sad. And then BLG 2-0 Vikings, which is or not Vikings, Vivo Keat Stars. Kate Stars, I think they actually call themselves, which is the Brazilian team, which also pretty proud of that push for them. It was a 2-0, but, like, VKS actually brought it. There was actually a competitive game too, and BLG, like, after that, I was like, "Man, this team put no respect on anyone, even at this point when they're technically on match point 1 and 2." So, damn. I feel like the wake-up call is there. Does this team need to change? Of course, but I think they're, like, 1 jungler away. That's really it. I
yeah.
don't think anything else needs to really change. The roster is actually still solid. It's just tilted because there's not a real core. The jungler is the heart of the team.
Well, I think the only way people like the only reason roster changes would change is maybe like some one of the members is way too pissed at another member that you can't have it, right? Like I feel like that's happened in a lot of rosters. Famously, like
Yeah.
Doublelift TL, right? He got kicked off of TL because of Spring Split doesn't matter COVID stuff, and his teammates all got pissed at him left. And then I think that stuff happens a lot in pro play, and I hope it doesn't happen. I do agree about the one jungler away thing. I also think like I felt like they just started panicking when they didn't like they procrastinated, they were unserious, and then they tried to get serious, but it was too late. They started panicking and they just shit the bed. They couldn't bring it back up. Like I really feel like that's what happened towards the end. Um, because I don't think they ever fully like got the meta. I maybe they did or didn't, but yeah, I man that like I just think it's so crazy. Like the series against Top Esports, even though it wasn't like a high quality series, the elimination best of three, uh,
Yep.
the level from BLG like just shot up dramatically, and I was like, I don't understand this thing that I'm seeing. Like they dropped so dramatically against the Western teams, where it feels like they actually lose or they could lose, and then against Top Esports, they're like all their mechanics like feel much more polished, but they still run it down and don't have a good enough macro to beat Top Esports. But it's a weird phenomenon, and let's just talk a little bit about Top Esports because we're on the subject. I think they have the same issue, a very weird issue, where they also run it down against other teams, but they look so good against other LPL teams. um, I felt the same way at finals for LPL as well. I did watch it. It was Top Esports LG, where it's like I feel like Top Esports is a really good team with a little bit of inting in the late game, but when you watch that semifinals, Top Esports versus T1, it is disgustingly low elo play. It is the worst thing I've seen in the entire tournament. It is like worse than TSW, worse than Fnatic type stuff in the semifinals, and I don't understand the roster. They are such a crazy, fraudulent team. So fascinating to have in our lives.
I think Top Esports is a top 3, maybe top 5 early game team in the world if you
Yeah.
just look at their regular season and their
Yeah.
playoffs, in LPL. They showed it early on in the group stage. Like, they would when they win games, I'm like, "Wow, they just like took these leads out of nowhere. These ganks are great. The rotations are clean." I'm like, we always say this, right? We're like, oh, the coaching's probably pretty good. But in this case, like, I also think like the roster itself has like people like Kanavi is one of the best junglers in the world. There's a reason why he represented Korea
Early game
for the
jungle.
Asian games, early games. There's a reason why I actually think he's one of the best junglers, period, when it's not against LCK. If you actually just look at their record historically, this guy is a monster when it's not against a Korean team. And the
Yeah.
second it's against a Korean team, he remembers all the days he was a trainee going up the tier list, up the ladder in Korea. Probably it's like, oh, these are all my Hyunbaes or whatever they're called, Hyungs. Like
Oh yeah.
these are my like big brothers. I just like have to respect them because I'm serious. This man is one of the worst junglers when it's in LCK. He gets a debuff. It's like in Mayhem, and he's just like
This is mind.
he loses his mind. But my point is like I think top was they started the tournament pretty hot. They went 2-0 only against NA and EU. They played against 100 Thieves and G2. Same gauntlet BLG ran through, by the way. And then the second they played it into KT at the time is like they would garner some like advantages in like very small areas, but then it just would collapse. And I think that
Throw in the game.
the throws are just like brainless. Like there was no sense of like these people know how to play League of Legends. There's no sense that these people are actually tenured professionals who are some of the best players to ever come out of the region and hung. Um,
Yeah.
like 369, I think this guy had a great tournament overall.
He did.
Individually, he just like played a bunch of characters, played tanks well, played carries well, played bruisers well, like very good. Kanavi, great early games. Horrific dog shit jungling after that,
He's
but
in the
let's not get
same
into
category, by the way. He is of Razork, Blabber. They're the same family. They're all
oh,
related.
I believe it. This man locked in Belvet 2 years in a row. World
Oh
Fate of the
my
Universe on the
god.
line.
Velvet.
Kanavi Belvet. I'm like, just take me, just
He
kill
did it
me. I can't do this.
twice, 2 years in a row on two different JDG rosters, right?
Yeah, in a
That's
row. And
crazy.
in game 5, when there
Game
was like
four.
there was a
Yeah.
oh, game 4, yeah. But when there was a solid chance, yeah, one of was game 4, but it was solid chance of winning. You don't really there wasn't fearless, so you weren't pinched into it,
You didn't
and he
have to pick
picked it and
Velvet,
did
dude.
literally nothing. It
You
was super
didn't have to
competitive.
pick it.
Like honestly, it was super competitive. It's the kind of thing where I'm like, I think BLG was like 55-45 favorite, right? So if these are close coin flips where you're slightly favored, why would you completely risk it all on like a 2080 play? Where I'm like, yeah, you want to play solo queue Belveth in pro play when you're like known to have nerves? Like, okay, bro, unless your name's like Canyon, where he picked that red Kane in that super deciding match like 2 years ago, I just like don't believe it. And then Cream, I think, yeah, against Korean teams as well, he doesn't show up. He's young though. This is his first year of internationals, I think it is. So
No, it's
second year
around.
now?
I think it's
No,
3 years, 2 or 3.
no, because I remember we commented recently that there's like he has not done international play. Or at least, yeah, no, he this
Maybe
is his
as a
second year at
second year,
international.
then yeah, because the
Because last
last
year we
year,
saw him at EWC only, so
no,
he didn't
last
go
year
MSI or
he was at
Worlds.
MSI. He lost to, got 3-0'd by G2.
Oh shit, you're right. Okay, no, you're right. I was looking him up because I was like, oh, what did he do? And I'm looking at his finals appearances. He was at EWC finals last year. Top
Yeah,
T1.
lost
Oh
to
god,
T1. Yeah, I remember.
again. But
Yeah.
again, I think the guy has like potential. I think he is decent, but he didn't
Uh,
show it at all.
he,
And then Jackie Love is
I mean, he cursed himself by joining this freaking roster, man. Oh my god. Poor, like, all of them. Like,
I think Top Esports needs a rebranding. I think there's just no hope here.
they've
There's
been doing
no
this for a really long time. Like, before this roster with, like, before they got Jackie Love, like, when Jackie Love was, like, IG and stuff, like, they had a different iteration where Top Esports would make it to work. It would also just choke their brains out. I think it was only once, right? Um, Yeah, man, this is a rough curse for the org. It has been 4 years in a row that 369 has been eliminated by T1 in either semis or quarters. 4 years in a row. The same T1 roster minus the top laner, right? Davis versus Warren. And then
yeah.
Kanavi, it's twice, 2 years in a row on with 369 on JDG, got eliminated by T1. And then they skip a year because he didn't make it, and then he comes back to top esports to get eliminated again by T1, and it was brutal. This was the worst one of all of them. Most of them were 3-0s or 3-1s. This one was a 3-0 that just happened, and it was the worst one by far. It was so insanely bad. Um, yeah, Kanavi lost his mind, especially on the Trundle. Oh my god. I really want to like play these clips, so if I edit these in, we'll just have to imagine them between us, but moving the later will be funny. But like, you remember Trundle? He flashed over the wall. Oh my god, I felt so much pain. The gank bot lane, tried to gank
Funny,
T1
it was
top
yesterday night. Yes, I remember. And he just
last
flashed
night.
over, and then like Di oh my god, he just
Top esports.
dilly-dallied.
Yeah, just ran back and forth.
Just ran back and forth, then went for the gank, got almost nothing out of it, took a turret shot, put the pillar on half-heartedly. It felt like he was doing things to show people that he existed. Instead, like, Kanavi's known for counter jungling. He's actually known for, like, dominating the other jungler, taking the tempo, right? He didn't counter jungle for shit. It felt like he was the kinda guy who was like, "I'm trying to help all the lanes," and he just fell further and further behind.
He did
Also,
try to counter jungle though. He did
he
try, but owner
right.
stole the jungle buff over the wall. He got
Oh,
effed.
yes.
He got
Oh my
completely
god.
destroyed.
And they
Like,
lost all the prio that the silver lane had in bot lane too because of that. Like,
yeah.
they had silver karma, they were pushing up, they took the prio, pushed it into the bot lane, and then they just, like, lazily dragged the red buff in such a spot that you could smite over the wall with the ward there, and it's like, "Bro."
Oh wait, I'm thinking about two different games though. That was the Wukong game, not the Chun. My bad.
Well, either way, they were all
Well,
nightmares that
both of
started to
them, they're both nightmares. You're right. They were both
I
such nightmare. It happened two
I have
games,
an
two nightmare jungle starts. Oh my god.
I have an insane stat for you.
Okay, hit me.
In every game this tournament, top esports against non-LPL did not get past 33 minutes. Not once.
Wow,
And
that's
then they had
fast.
only one game against LPL that was above 33 minutes. It was 35 minute 53 against BLG. Game 3. That's it. Every game ended early and it ended with like this sad whimper. It's not like they went down fighting for the most part other than like 369 and Jackie Love eating forward or flashing forward. Like there was so little vitality in this team in terms of like,
Did they
oh, I don't even
lose? They lose every game to the LCK. They
they did
lost,
not win a single match against LCK.
but every
They
game as
and
well, right? They got 2-0'd by KT.
202 KT, Gen.G, and T1. They just went through the gauntlet and got smashed. I think by the time they got to T1, their
7-0.
mental was just completely gone.
They got 7-0'd by Korea at this tournament.
7-0 in less than 33 minutes, a speed run like that. All those games combined are maybe shorter than some best of fives.
Dude, like
And
when people talk about the gap, like people think about the gap at East versus West, like it doesn't even matter anymore. The West is so cooked. It's like the Korea versus China is the new gap, man. It has become insane. And that is with so many Korean players in China as well. Oh man. It's
I mean, we have AL. Okay, I still think
true.
AL
Feels
is
good.
a real team.
Top A
They are
diff.
good, and they're young too. Like there's like so little experience, relatively speaking, compared to the other pro teams. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm excited about them. There is stuff to believe in. I just don't want them to go down the route of like they're super like BLG when they came on scene. We're like, holy cow, these guys are really good for their first time like all together as a squad. And then they like slowly lose their steam as they get beat down by the reality that is Faker
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Chovy to a lesser extent in some of these other non-world tournaments. But yeah, I think that's enough for top esports. Like we gave them more time than they probably spent
Kind
playing
of
like
fun
humans.
talking about it. Oh my god, like it's like looking at a disaster, like a big pile of like trash, and being like, I can't
Oh,
stop looking at it. I
I
can't
went
stop."
to okay. I actually do need to say this. So I went
Yeah.
to a watch party last night. All my
Yeah.
friends that were there were all LPL fans. They actually watch like the LPL all year round.
Oh.
And like they're from China, so like, they love LPL as well. But
Oh
we
no.
also like the LCK teams that are good, right? So like we're fans of the game. And the whole time we brought a friend who has never watched League. She doesn't play at all. She was just there to support her boyfriend. And so we brought her here, and then she said, "Hey Kevin," I'm like, "What?" It's like, why is the Chinese team always missing things and then getting outnumbered? And it's like, is it normal for them to be so imprecise with their movement and their actions? And I was like,
No, this is
"N-
this is a lot. That's a
and
hard
all of us in
question.
the room just like we're just like, you
Pause.
know, if you don't even know how, like, we had to explain that night what minions were, what gold was, what towers were, like she only understood the concept like, less HP equals they die. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Uh, And I'm saying like, no, you're absolutely right. Even a person who literally has never watched League in their life knows this is bad. This is super bad. And
Very bad.
so, yeah, all to put down. I think top esports is kind of like how the Swiss stage is a little bit fraudulent. Like the 2-0 they started with is like they got an easy draw. They played well throughout that. I think that this roster just has no value to be together, and I think Han is a criminal. I didn't even mention him because like there was 4 veterans who are storied legends of the game in China, and then there's Han. This guy is a criminal. I'm sorry. His karma. Did you remember a single thing he did that game? Did he get prio? Did he team
Yeah.
fight together? Did he tether a person the whole game?
Joel Jackie loves experience. Should have AFK'd in the fountain. Like an
Should have
FF.
AFK in the fountain. Like, we just need 5 people to participate to play the game, that's all. His Nami, he flash forwarded with a bubble in your dragon pit, completely missed. Missed waves more
Yeah.
and more times than I can count. Did not like, he did help Jackie Love get some kills by eating Jackie Love while Jackie Love went for it and just, like, solo killed or dual killed and, like, initiated, but, like, this man was potentially one of the worst modern support. No, that's not true. I've seen some worse bad ones too, but at least from a top team and a top contender, this guy just reminds me of the good old days where LPL would have supports like Cloud or whoever, like crappy supports who just did not have hands, could not play any champion right. Even when he played Nautilus, like it felt like he had no idea what he was doing. So I think that he needs to not be on a pro team
Oh my
at a top
god.
level. I don't know.
That was
I
damn.
I have
No.
no idea if I ever saw a sign of a pulse from him in any of the games, including the wins, right? Like they're a
You
good
know
early game
what?
team.
Let's lay off the guy a little bit. He played really badly, but he's also on the team with the most international chokers. Okay, he just got the choke. They all choke together. I think you fire all of them, you know? So,
All the most international chokers? Yeah, that's true. Cannot
they're
yeah.
all like the only one who's not is Jackie Love, the one time he won Worlds, and I guess 369 when he won MSI on JD, right? Those are the only times.
I
Everybody
mean,
else,
Jason Knight hasn't choked most of these. He's played well and most even when he lost, he's been playing relatively well for a long
Kanavi
time.
is a Giga
Kanavi's a choker.
Choker.
Cream
Jackie
has choked for
Love is a
2
Giga
years now.
Choker. Cream, I wouldn't call him a choker in that he like does anything horrendous. Like Jackie Love and Kanavi actually do horrendous things. And Hong did some pretty criminal things. So
Hong did some pretty criminal things.
you already said it. We're talking enough about top esports. We got enough to talk about. Let's talk about the last Chinese team, Anyone's Legends. Talk about that series. Oh my god, I actually think like depending on how this finals goes, because we don't know how well KT is gonna show up. Well, we already know T1's showing up. Is KT gonna show up? I don't know, but we are on the precipice of like it's that conversation we were having earlier, right? Where this world's format is good at finding the top one team, the best team, but it's not good at
Mhm.
finding the second, third, fourth, fifth place, blah 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 blah. Right? Anyone's Legends made top eight, but now that we know T1 has made it to the finals, and let's say T1 Rios, 3-1s, the final, it's fairly convincing, right? People will be saying
Mhm.
for a long time, like they do with other series, T1 versus AL quarterfinals was probably the actual. I think there's a real argument for that already at this point. Um, it was insane. It was the most insane finals I think we've seen, or the same series we've seen at Worlds. It's up there. Um, yeah, wow. Anyone Legends coming in as like second, third seed is crazy. What are your thoughts on the team?
I think Anyone Legends, as we previewed a little bit as we got to this point, I think they were consistently. They have they're a team that like has that magic, right? They're down 5K, but you're like, no, you don't count these guys out. And I think at an international tournament, more so than domestic, that is the difference between a contender and a consistent champion, right? Like someone who, when they win, it's not a fluke, right? Because at Worlds, it's you do not need to have the best hands. You need to be playing at the consistently best level, no matter the pressure, no matter how many mistakes you make, because you will make more mistakes. It's statistically, even Faker did that like legendary, like I think it was like an Ari, like random Zanyas under mid turret, uh, mid first turret during Worlds, charmed the wrong way, blah blah blah, like all these like bad decisions. It happens for anyone at Worlds. So my point is, I think AL is the only team for LPL this year that had that spark of like they can scrap it back. There's no such thing as an unlosable game for them. They had a lot of versatility in the draft, and they had multiple areas that can carry the game. So I think Anyone's Legend, it was a pleasure to watch them. I think Flandre actually showed incredible play, even though maybe the KDA or whatever didn't show it, especially in the match against T1. I'm like, damn, this guy is cooking. He is playing out of his goddamn mind. I think when he won Worlds, I was not. He was the player I always said I'm not impressed by. I'm like he was just there. He played GP. He played whatever. Like he was fine. But I think this year I understand why he's respected in LPL, and I understand internationally that he actually can be on a championship winning team and be way more than just like a benefit. He was just super good. I think that throughout the tournament, he showed versatility, and he was not an inter by any means. I also think Tarzan has beat all the allegations. I know in previous years there were times where they called him an LCK spy. I would like to formally apologize if I ever said that, but I don't think I did. He just has been called that before because he would also lose against Korean teams. He played out of his mind. I think he was one of the first examples of like a good Kiana early on in the tournament.
Yeah,
There
he's the
are other
best
ones.
Kiana. I don't think there are other good Kianas. No, we're gonna stop that. I don't think there are other
Well,
good
I
Kianas
I
at the
didn't say there
tournament.
were other ones. I just said you one of the first good examples which convinced other people to play it, right?
I think
Which
he's the
means
only good Kiana in like the whole world and pro play, if I'm being honest. The other
oh,
junglers that
dear.
you'd wish are be good, like Canyon or Kanavi, they're Kiana. Unfortunately, it's kind of crazy how good he is at it. Um,
I agree. I don't know where you get time to practice that character. Like in the sense that there are certain junglers that are evergreen, they come back, they go away. Kiana's like one of those like this is a very specific set of skills. It doesn't really convert to other junglers at all, and it's not like a character you necessarily. It just hasn't been meta that long either. It's not like oh, if someone brings back Sejuani or Gragas, I'm like yeah,
yeah,
I mean wow, you have a great Gragas. So
I
does
think
like
yeah, the Kiana was it became really buffed, right? I think they buffed her directly and then they buffed the lethality items. They buffed Profane Hydra and Axiom Arc, and then she became super OP in jungle. For a guy like Tarzan who grinds solo queue a lot, like Zed, Kiana, Talon all became jungle. That's probably where he got that practice. And I do think for
mm,
some reason, like the other players, the other junglers, like they just didn't get crazy cracked on those champions. Like normally you would expect someone like Canyon to just get insanely cracked at Kiana and Zed and Talon and then bust them out. But like remember there was a time when like Owner was busting out Talon jungle. Tarzan is the Zed Kiana merchant. He actually plays those in high stakes matches. I do wish other junglers played them because they're super fun, super hype, and they're genuinely OP if you and in Fearless, I think that's super reasonable. There's going to be drafts where it's like they don't have an optimal front line. So yeah, play the Zed, play the Kiana. Kiana's a lot more broken than Zed and Talon.
it's Zen, yes. I agree. And
Something,
then
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Something I want to say about Tarzan. Um, so he does have that choker allegation. He's had it for a while. I think
Mhm.
this year, like maybe it's not as apt, but he still didn't get it done. He never actually took a best of five against like any of the really top tier 5 game super close series against Gen.G and T1 at MSI. Super close one against T1 at Worlds. Never actually winning though. Really rough because I remember like 2 years ago he was on LNG with Scout and he was choking out of his mind. He was like doing the Kanavi. He was running
He
it
was.
down against T1, just doing the weirdest stuff in front of Faker. Like just
Faker's
EQ.
just like, "Are you sure about that, Tarzan?"
Yeah, and just like killing him on Oriana and Zir and stuff like that. I think Tarzan is past that point. He wasn't like he was doing weird stuff. He was playing really well, just not making the absolute best decisions he could, and not really filter anything. So yeah, Tarzan's gotten a lot better, but I mean, for the longest time, he was in the category. He was of the same family. Kanavi, we're gonna keep track. Blabber, Kanavi, Razork, like these guys.
Razork.
Tarzan to me was that same family for a long time. I think this year did a lot to improve that image for me, but like I also think like that of
Tien
contracts.
sometimes.
Who?
Tien.
Oh, Tien. Oh yeah, Tien. Well,
Yeah, Tien's like might be
yeah.
one of the
Tien's
one
one
of
of the
the
worst
three
ones.
council members.
Yeah, yeah, Tien's one of the worst ones actually. Yeah, Tien's really bad. I forgot about him. He's not at this world, so I forgot about him. But yeah, Tien's like, yeah, yeah he's a prime member. He's one. He was on Top Esports before Kanavi, and they're both like they're very
Yeah,
different, but they're both the same. Like I feel like they're the same.
they put a coat of paint on him. They made him more Korean, and they're like, "All right, there we go." And I'm like, I don't know if that will solve your problems, Top Esports.
Looks different, right? We're good to go. I know. Oh my god, they were not. They were so effed. Yeah, Tarzan's done a lot to change the image. You know who also did that for me too? Contracts. Contracts was in the same boat. Touch and enter. Oh my god, running it down. And one good series against NRG changed my mind on him. So, or against G2.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
When
yeah.
they
I
eliminated
mean,
G2. So,
he was
you know,
so clutch in that. Like, if you peak that hard, it's not just like, okay, you play fine, right? You play at your level. He played it beyond his level, and if you
hey,
can play beyond your level in a series and beat our nemesis, and this was before we were, fathering G2 for a whole like 2 years straight. This was the beginning, right, of the
uh,
punishment.
I miss those
Oh, the
times,
good times.
man. Yeah,
It was a good era. I mean,
go
we might
back.
have to argue that it's over right now, but that's
We
okay.
need to go back,
But
bro.
we should go back. My point is, yeah, if you can peak that hard when it matters, like all your sins are forgiven. That's just how it is, right? If you
Yeah,
can peak even once, like the shy, there's a reason why. Even though I said he played like he probably single-handedly lost the game, he's the only reason they got this far as well, and he did earn it in the
guy's
past
an
to
animal.
have the right. The guy's an animal, never change. I'm glad he didn't retire. Laughed my ass off and cried at the same time. Like what a beast.
But top esports though, they have never gotten it across the finish line. I feel like they never actually do anything meaningful. The only meaningful thing they did, I think, was they like eliminated Gen.G at EWC, which doesn't count. That's a Mickey Mouse tournament. So yeah, they don't have that respect for me. Like Kanavi, I guess he did win MSI, but he was with Ruler, so like I don't know. And yeah, these guys.
I mean, he was good. He is always one of the major reasons they get this far.
It's
That's the
true.
problem.
It's why they
He
get
like
that far, but it's also why they don't get any farther. So that is the same player I think Blabber is right now, right? Cloud9 can't get to be in the conversation of top three without him, but when they get there, Blabber down, down.
every time.
Let's finish with Anyone's Legends though. Insane series. Talk a little. We haven't talked much about T1, but like, holy cow, Guma is so good. If you ever doubted Guma, it's fair if you saw him play Ezreal, but if you see him play any other champion, oh my god, he's crazy. Because I think, let's see, what is his worst champion? His worst champion's got to be like Ezreal Zeri, right? I think those are the bad Guma champions.
Kaisa is also up there. He's
Well, okay, so
historically
not
35%
anymore.
win rate.
Not
Not anymore,
anymore.
but
Not
I
anymore.
also would asterisk that by saying he beat up Hope and he beat up Jackie Love on TS. Like those are the two character times he picked Kaisa in the tournament. He did carry. He played very well, but
Yeah.
he beat up Hope, guys. Hope's Corki was basically a cannon minion. Like, let's be real.
Yeah, so is
A
Jackie
cannon minion
Loves.
could take. Yeah, that's true. So, like, both times, right? So, I don't know if he's good at Kaisa.
No,
I still don't know.
he's good at Kai'Sa because his mechanics are absolutely insane. I think any champion that right clicks a lot, he's insane at. That's why Zeri and Ezreal he's bad at because there's not as much right clicking. But like Ruler,
There's like
Ezreal,
Q and yeah, that's that.
you're
Okay,
like a
that's
spellcaster,
probably fair.
and like his Lucian's never been like it's not like god tier like Elk level, right? His Lucian's not that high up, but like his Ashe, that's the best. That's Varus. Oh my god, man. He is too
No,
good
I
at those
think Duck
champions.
Thumb's Ash is better, personally.
Really? I don't think so. I mean, I don't.
I've never seen an Ash player literally just do what he did on the Ash game in like modern league.
Oh, for Duckdom against Gen.G?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I
And it's into ruler. It's into ruler specifically. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, but like I do
Mm.
think, uh, I mean maybe it's Ash or not Ash. I don't really care. I think he is the best at A clicking or orb walking or whatever or right clicking people. He is the fastest in the world at it.
Yes, he is the best at
He
that.
like he's prime Uzi type diff. Like he's just clicking better than you. Um. He clicks
Agreed.
better than Ruler. He does. He 100%
He
does.
does.
Ruler's got other
Ru-
things that he's better at. Um, for
Ruler
sure.
can play almost everything in the bot lane
Yeah,
at a
Ruler can play
incredibly high
anything.
level.
Also, I think Ruler has like um I don't know, Ruler has that consistency. It does like take like the world or not the world, the whole year as a totality. Ruler has a higher floor. Guma has lots of dips, but it's just the peak moments that matters, honestly. So Guma is just crazy. He was really crazy in the series. He clutched up hard. He ran it down too. I think his Ziggs and Draven were so criminally bad. That's why they lost some of their games. But then his Ashe and his Kaisa were so insanely good that it brought it back. Yeah, insane stuff. Um, I think this is the first series I want to talk about draft, actually. Do you want to go down a draft rabbit hole a little bit?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. I'm gonna have to pull up stuff. Hold on, give me a second. See it? I'll just tell you it. But I actually think, okay, yeah, here we go. So just game one, right? Anyone's Legends, their comp is Rek'Sai, Kiana, Ryze, Ezreal, Braum, right? And then they're playing against T1's comp Sion, Pantheon, Talia, Varus, Rakan. And honestly, anyone's Legends, they were cooking for a lot of this game, but it was a pretty one-sided game. Like after a certain point, they just lost. They got outscaled pretty hard, and I think it's one of those things where like Flandre was on the Rek'Sai, completely like 1v9 top lane, getting massive advantages, like took the tier 1 turret basically by himself, was proxying the
Yep.
wave, pressing the jungle, and like I think it was just such a key problem in this meta is that it doesn't matter how far ahead you get on Rek'Sai. The champion doesn't scale for shit. And it doesn't matter how far behind you get on Sion. These have been like staples of the whole tournament all the way through Sis. Sion always scales. It doesn't matter how many times you kill him, no matter how far ahead you get him. The champion I think is generally OP on the patch. Um, so I think like anyone's Legends, they set themselves up for failure really quickly because they burned such good champions for them. Like Flandre is the best Rek'Sai in the world. Tarzan's the best Kiana in the world. Shanks is crazy good at Ryze, but they played it into like I think almost an auto lose draft. And it's because they're playing Rek'Sai into Sion, and they're playing Kiana into like a bunch of tanks, right? Kiana's so hard to play into Pantheon. Um, I also found it interesting that like owner clearly can't play Kiana, so they also don't want to ban Kiana as well, right? Because there's a lot of bans you got to do. So they decide they had this strategy. They did it a couple times this tournament already. It's the instant pick Pantheon. Pantheon got nerfed, been meta all year, but you still find ways to pick him, and one of the ways is to counter into Kiana. You just press W on her, and I think that like anyone's Legends honestly could have won this series if they didn't make this critical game one draft mistake where yeah, they didn't even get ahead really, so that could have changed things. But I think even if they get ahead as anyone Legends with this draft, they have Ezreal and the Scion. You can't kill him, right? There's just not enough damage. I think their draft was doomed. I think this is like, in my opinion, I think other people may have different opinions. For me personally, how I understand draft and how I understood this meta and T1 as well, like a 90-10 win. The draft is such a huge and then it's just you. It's like people are on their best champions, right? Like Baker's on Talia, Yusha's on Varus. I really think like a strategy that you need to do. KT did this against Gen.G. Is you need to take their best champions, play it against them. Talia is easily Faker's one of best champions at the moment. Varus for Gumayushi,
Yep.
Rakan for
Picking
Keria.
Karma, picking Nami off of Carrier. Yep, that was
Yeah,
the plan as well.
yeah,
But no, I do agree. Outside of that example, I do agree that this is like the fearless meta. I think is just underdeveloped as well. I think a lot of people still don't fully know how to best do fearless. That's why you see a lot of awkward. I wouldn't say inty, but like definitely like people playing off balance. If I had to describe it, right? Like these people, like early on, I think T1 is weaker because they don't like they're very good at a lot of champions, but they're not like so specialized, right? They can win in a lot of metas. That's why they've won so much. But then
yeah,
as it gets later and later in the series, like especially if you burned your best picks early on, especially if you burn your best picks and you don't win with them,
yeah,
uh I was super worried. And like the fact that AL could get to game 5 and like make everything so close really showed the class of the team. And like they do have the depth, but yeah, they just blowing game 1 was just so pivotal to this whole series.
yeah.
Um I also think Kyle needs to get a shout out through his group stage as well as up to here. Probably the best performing support from all of LPL. He is Korean, but like he had an insane
Oh,
poppy play to catch the Kaisa coming in.
oh yeah,
Uh,
Ruler's
in
Kai'Sa,
group stage.
right? Yeah.
Ruler was just like it was like, yeah, I'm out of vision. I'm gonna come in and just like engage it, and he just got absolutely boomed, and they got destroyed.
The
Uh,
shadow. The shadow. So you can see when Kaisa ulties in, she leaves a little shadow on the ground, and Kyle, I guess, saw it in that chaotic
I
team
guess he
fight.
saw it, or
Reaction
he just has
W'd.
like Twitch reactions as a younger person. I don't know. But
Yeah,
anyways,
either one is crazy. It's crazy, whichever.
and then we have to speak to it because it'd be crazy not to. Hope. You want to start Hope? Should I start Hope?
Oh, okay. You want to talk? Oh, I mean,
Uh,
he had a really bad
uh,
time, I think, in the series against T1.
that
Well,
is one way to put it. Yeah.
it's just, yeah. I mean, the last two games, I felt like he was the main choker. He was the main reason that they weren't able. Yeah. In game four and game five, he had pretty criminally bad games. Actually, his score in Game 5 was quite good, 5-1 on the Jinx. But I thought he played really badly, even though it was good. To be fair, he was also getting completely like booty blasted though. Excuse my language, but like holy hell, did like he get he got owned. Like he got wrecked. He was the recipient of the absolutely legendary Carry Nico play. This play will go down
Oh
in
my
history
god.
as one of the greatest plays
Oh my
ever made
god.
in League of Legends. Hope is the recipient of that. He will. It's like he will always be in clips, forever in forever League time, getting owned. I mean, it sucks to be Hope. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, he did not have a great time.
It was basically hopeless was the meme. Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
I think the problem with Hope is like not only was he the recipient of very bad moments, I think the other issue is like this is not his first rodeo, guys. The super team LPL JDG rosters too also had Hope.
Yeah.
And again, I think he's a good role player and he, does get like some pretty good games off of there sometimes, but he cannot hypercare. He cannot be on a championship winning team. In my opinion, he just has never shown that spark that I need from someone that I can like trust to carry us to the promised land. Like it just never comes from him. And the more it matters, the more disastrous it gets. It feels like he's like the type of support that 80 carries like. I don't know. He plays like Ghost. He plays like
Anyone's Legend Viper. Oh, that not slap? That not go hard?
I could think of I first of all, I think that slaps, and I think I can think of a lot of players and pro 80 carries, even in LPL. Put Gala on there. Put maybe light, but I would say at least put Gala on there as a starter pack. I think Jackie Love in this series would have won, even though he's an inter. I think Jackie Love was still better than Hope because he can play the same things like the Ziggs. And he can actually play carries with a real team around him with Kyle as a support. I think this guy
Yeah.
is good enough.
I Nah, Jackie Love is dead to me. I am sorry. I
He might
can.
be dead to you, but they got to game 5 one team fight away from
Yeah.
winning the whole thing.
I
And so
don't
you
I don't trust either Hope or Jackie Love to get it done. I'm sorry. They got nothing for me, buddy. I will not concede those points. Yeah, sorry. I do think Hope is a bit he like it did happen against the J in the JDG versus well, like what is it? The sun gun in his eyes, right? Just
the lights
meme
are too bright.
the bright light, yeah, the bright lights. Yeah, I definitely think that happens to Hope. He was so tilted. I feel like also like he got set up really well in Game 5 to carry. And to be fair, I don't think it did not seem like any of anyone's legends had played against Mel. They were getting wrecked by Faker on Mel. Um, so there's that, and he's just playing Jinx, and like the fights are chaotic, and cannot hit anything, and he was just doing nothing in the game team fight. It was really rough. Um, but then again, right? Like he's there for a reason. He's one of the best in the LPL period. So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Um,
What are we gonna do, man? This has become like a
the
international issue.
the LPL has to make like they have to steal like 20 LCK challenger players or something. Like make them live there and like train up. I don't know. It's like it's really hard. I think like if we get into more LPL stuff, it's like they have a new law, right, that I've been hearing about, where like people under a certain age can't play video games for too long. Um,
That's been in place for like the last year already.
last year, right? So like I do think that's gonna hurt a lot because you already know like there's 15-year-olds in Korea playing 15 hours a day that dream one day play against Faker, and they're gonna be absolutely cracked in like 5 years from now. So I think the gap is just gonna
Yeah.
keep getting bigger. I mean, I don't know what else to say, right? You can't play as much, right? It's the same thing. It's like, why do we suck in NA? We really just don't play as much. And we're playing on 60 ping. So I don't know. What are you gonna
If
do?
only there was a queue to play against only professionals on low latency, but that's just a pipe dream. I can't imagine that existing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Champs queue, it's all
Uh,
fucked. No, I just don't even want to talk about NA. We're just gonna be an LCK podcast from now on. It's the only interesting region. No, for reals though. Let's anyone's legends. Great team. They were eliminated. They're probably contenders for like second, third. Like you can make an argument they're like the second or third. Um,
mhm.
and let's look at it a little bit. Talk about all the Chinese teams. Okay, let's go back to the stage. Let's just briefly talk about NA and EU. We already talked about Fnatic. Clearly, people were really mean to them. I guess I was pretty mean to Razork, if I'm being honest. So whatever.
Yeah, you call them like a generational brainless person, basically.
Damn, he is.
Which is
Damn.
fair,
He is.
unfortunately.
I actually am an upset believer. I don't know why he always sucks, but for some reason I always think he's good. But nobody likes him, so I'll take the L on that one. I don't care about upset. Let's talk about G2. Okay, let's talk about G2. They did make it to top 8. They did take one game off of top esports, and in that series, top esports played well. They played normally. They played like a good Asian team. And obviously they lost their minds. But G2, um, like yeah, I they were the best Western team by I think a pretty significant margin, right? And that's because of the FlyQuest collapse. Um, wow, the gap is massive, and I think like the gap is astronomical at this point. Best Western team. I never thought they were that good. I think if FlyQuest was in peak form, they were better. And but I also don't think if FlyQuest was in G2's place that they would beat top esports. Maybe they take an extra game off. But I do think, it sucks to say it, the gap is massive. So, what are your thoughts on G2? Any of the other Western teams? Let's just talk about all the Western teams.
Sure. We can talk G2 first, and then I'll give a quick eulogy to Mad Lions Koi as well. I think G2 being the only team to make it to the quarterfinals this time, like it's reassuring to see. I think Caps played a relatively decent tournament, all things considered. There was ups and downs. There were some incidents, but given the difficulties that they had to face, like getting here, they had a lot of issues with this roster. I feel like they've
Yeah,
been on a. I personally think that the issues are still Schemon and Lebrov. I think BB, Caps, and Hansama, like again, Hansama's did things to Team Liquid, but I think he has been good. I think Schema and Lebrov don't fit what these players need on their team. They're like truly the definition of like a little too passive for international level. They're not passive domestically, personally speaking. They're like fine. They do make plays when they're available, but they don't have that vision. They're not crazy. They're not like I have the Healy on my team. Like I could beat T1 in a best of five potentially with this guy. LeBron will never have the variance needed to beat a decent team. And you see it in the top esports match too. Them losing in top to top this form of top esports is mostly just because like they just couldn't hang. There's no pressure from the support. There's no champion pool like flexibility. There's no like insane Nico play. There's no pocket picks. I just think that like G2 is the fact they got her such an impressive complement to their core, but like their jungle support and the jungler is relatively new to be fair, but like their jungle support is just not it, in my opinion. And I think that is the biggest limiting factor and why they just even though they were impressive and they did make it this far, who they beat was anemic BLG. They beat Mad Lions Koi, which isn't surprising. They've taken games back and forth against them, and unfortunately, they beat FlyQuest. And that one I'm very sad about. But to be fair, we still have a winning record. FlyQuest still has beaten them a lot more than they've lost, just not when it mattered, right? Not when it mattered this time. They got revenge.
yeah.
I accept that,
There's
but
there's the whole Bwipo incident. Yeah, it sucks. The whole
Whip
Inspired
incident.
incident. All the incidents
Oh
really.
my
There's a lot. The
god, that
Masu
incident need.
incident, or not the quad incident. There's so many
Oh,
incidents.
quad. I was like, Masu's had an incident.
I was actually thinking about MSI from Masu. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, the Lucian. Yeah, but yeah, lots of incidents, quad incidents. So yeah, G2. I just fully agree with the take. I think that Humond in his first year is way less impressive to me than Yike in his. I thought Yike
Oh
got
yes.
a lot of criticism that really wasn't deserved. He was a rookie that was playing pretty well. This was 2023. Yeah, they got wrecked by NRG, but hey, Contracts is the GOAT. Sucks to suck, but Yike is his first year, right? It's okay. But I just feel like Yike has that fire that you're talking about. Mickey X has that fire where it's like, hey, they're going to be less consistent in some of these things compared to Skewmon and Lebrov, right? Skewmon and
Hmm.
Lebrov are going to farm the low elo players in the LEC. Oh my god, are they going to farm them? And it's going to look disgusting. And every once in a while, you're going to have a really good meta draft that like counters something you do, right? So like the Dr. Mundo game for Skewmon when they beat Top Esports. But like, Yike and Mickey X are gonna be playmakers. They're gonna do some weird shit that's actually gonna surprise the Eastern teams. Um, they took T1 to 5 games at MSI. They 3-0 Top Esports at MSI. So I fully agree that this experiment feels like a big mistake, especially when KC has Yike, and now Mickey X is on Fnatic, and now he's going to SK and stuff like that. Like, man, this is like the best Western team. They were the best Western team from 2023 to 2024, just minus the energy incident, right? Like they were, and they just got unlucky draws. Like I think literally last year for G2, right? Didn't they beat Weibo Gaming and Damwon, and then they barely lost a 2-1 to BLG in a super competitive like that roster. I think is by
Like a
far.
game five, they should never have, or a match point they should never have faced. BLG should not have been in that match, so it's super unfair to them too. Like they were
Yeah,
good.
they were good. Like BLG was also like taking it super unseriously, and then like bringing it out like at the very last second to beat G2. Um, so I completely agree. I think that I am not a Lebrov believer at all. Oh my God, is that guy running it down? That guy first time Thresh. By the way, he used to be a Thresh one trick. That's how he became a pro. And he was first timing it on stage. He didn't pick up any souls. I think it was 20 minutes of the game. He had 18 souls or something disgusting. Like a really bad stat. It was so bad. And you need to collect souls or you'll just get one tapped. And I
You don't
swear,
get stats
you don't get stats.
otherwise.
I swear to God, Lebrov didn't throw a single hook until like 15 minutes into the game. He just held that shit for the next year, bro. He held that. Oh, for Winter Split. I don't know. I don't know. I could not believe what I was watching when they
He's
told me
so
he was.
fake. I think Lebrov is a part of a category of players that we also have mentioned in passing, but I don't think we've ever labeled them. He is a tryouts and scrim merchant. He is a guy
Oh
who's
yes.
he'll stomp the lower team. So like the management will come in and be like, dude, this guy is generational. Yeah, he might not show against the best teams if you're being a little realistic, but like, dude, imagine if he could. But these guys are always fake. I'm sorry. Like, and fake isn't like he could be a pro player. I'm not saying like hung, right? I'm not saying like you should give up your pro career. I'm just saying you can't be on a team that's at the forefront challenging the Titans because players like this, when it matters the most, and oh man, we still have our generational conversation about when it matters the most, people who don't show up is coming. This is what the whole podcast was for. Actually, this is why I'm awake.
Oh
But
my God.
my point is like these kind of players you should never put on your number one contender team. They have a place in the league. There are places like if you don't need to rely on them to initiate or bring the X factor and you have it elsewhere, sure, fine. But like this guy, it's actually so unexpected. I didn't know he was a like you actually disgusted me by saying that he's a Thresh one trick. Who the I thought he just didn't. He was like owner, where owner's like, I didn't know what Mundo did, and I was reading the tooltip during Game 5 against Absolute Legend. So anyone's legend. So like
Wasn't
that's why I
even a
played it
good
that way.
spot for Thresh. In my opinion, not even that good of a Thresh game. Like,
No,
dude, just pick another melee support. It was game 4. There's still a couple out there, man. I thought it was disgusting. Very
if
bad.
you're a one trick, the things you know the most about the character, besides like the muscle memory and the mechanics, is you know the matchups. That is the huge edge, and this is the reason why sometimes you'll see one tricks come out right in a position where you're like, can you pick a Nivea here? And they're like,
Oh,
no, I don't think so. And then they,
into
and then they
Ezreal
do well on it.
Karma. He picked Thresh into Ezreal Karma, man. Oh. That is literally the counter pick to Thresh. Because he's playing Ezreal with cleanse. Karma range matchup just pokes you. Oh, LeBron, what are you doing to me, bro? Because I love Thresh. Thresh is one of my favorite champions in the game. I love Thresh. He's so cool. Oh man, I wish he was in the meta. I wish we had like Keria or like some of these like really insane goated Thresh players playing Thresh.
I
And we
think
got
Thresh is
LeBron.
such a well-designed, balanced, and sick character watch in Pro Play. I always wish that he was kind of like the Oriano of support. He used to be for a while,
He
actually, and then
was
they just nerfed the shit out of him. I actually
annihilated.
don't get why they're allergic to letting Thresh cook and just be interesting and playable.
Yeah, I think because back then he was like this oppressive, like he wins lane because he just slaps you from range, but then he's tanky. I think he's just no longer like that, right? So they should definitely make him strong. Um, yeah, man.
Paid for by the Thresh gang, but you know, Thresh
Yeah.
propaganda gang.
Also, yeah, and then man, when I saw G2 when they put Skewmon on Ivern, I was like, bro, yikes! Ivern is like 10x Skewmon's Ivern. What they I also feel bad because it is Skewmon's first year, and he faced a
Yeah,
lot of criticism that maybe is deserved or undeserved, but it's just what happens when you top team. It's what happens when you represent your region, right? It happens in
yeah,
sports. I just think that like the type of player Skewmon is, I don't like it. It's like what people way back in the day in the Meteos era, they called it herbivore jungling. Okay,
yes.
he is pinnacle grass type jungler. I don't like it. It's not my type. It's not my cup of tea. Okay, he is like a wannabe inspired, but without the playmaking. Because inspired is a big playmaker as well. Like he's like inspired is like the herbivore jungler that learned to eat meat for sure. But Skewmon, I don't know, man. Like he wants to be a herbivore. He loves full clearing, man. It's his favorite thing. I hate it.
He
I
literally
don't.
picked Ivern. I mean, like, is there not a more herbivore jungler? But like, Yike actually made Ivern look like a
Yo,
real pet.
Yike looked like he wanted to fight, man. Like Yike was like, "Yo,
It's
get
like
me in
Battle
there."
Tree.
Yeah, battle tree exactly. Battle end.
He actually
Like,
opened my eyes because he used to pick that, and he was like, you know, not Yankos. So I had a lot of criticism for them letting go of Yankos. Still kind of do, but I can at least understand it now. He still won games, and he was like a carry, and he was like extremely impactful, disruptive. I'm like, oh, okay, this
yeah,
is a pocket pick. I get it. Very good. Does Skuma have a pocket pick? Does he?
the Mundo, right? Theoretically, isn't it supposed to be the Mundo?
Uh,
I guess like that's for
okay.
this
And the
tournament.
Mundo, and I do think the Mundo is very good.
It
Like
is really good.
if
I
you
think
can
it's
play it.
I think it's OP. Yeah, you okay, so I actually know a lot about Mundo. Okay, one of my favorite content creators right now is Alois NL. Have you heard of him?
Mm-mm.
Alois? Okay, I've actually mentioned you him before. Okay. He is like a really big EU educational content creator, and do you know like the push meme for Mundo? Like push.
Mm-mm.
Dude, that's him. He made that meme.
Oh,
Okay, so
okay.
he like got
I'm bad
really
with names, even for things I've seen.
and he like wears the Mundo cosplay and he's got the fucking briefcase and he's like playing like got like 10 million Hearthstone stacks on Mundo just ghosting and like one-shotting people with Titanic Hydra. Yeah, that's him. Anyways, he started this whole thing. I swear to God, he got like crazy high rank in Korea with it. And then there's this player called Natty Nat who's like rank 10 or 20 or something playing Mundo Jungle when his Rengar gets banned. And I think that Mundo Jungle very recently, like I'm literally talking within the last couple of months, like took over solo queue jungle and now it started in the EU because of Alois. Um and I think that's why Schemon picked it up, and that's why you see these other teams now picking it up, right? You saw Cuz pick it up. Cuz is a huge solo queue player. I've watched tons of like random games of like Natty Nat playing Cuz, and yeah, Cuz is a Mundo enjoyer. He actually understands the champion. Owner first timed it, did not understand it. So there is actual like some mechanics to Mundo that are a bit difficult, and it's only the jungle clear. His jungle clear is very, very precise. But if you're good at it, it's under 3 minutes. Like 2:07 or something. It's actually insane. I've seen like
That's insane. Wait, that's faster than like who's the fast clear? Shyvana or something like.
faster. It's for
That's
sure faster
much
than
faster.
Shyvana. It's like Karthus level. It's one of the best in the entire game. It is one of the best in the entire game. It's like Shaco Karthus level of Ivern level.
Oh,
But like so you have to be good at the clear. After that, the champion's very easy to play. You just run around and right click people, right, and throw. There's like a
it's
couple.
true.
There's a couple mechanics where you W and then you ulti and then you W again. You get the health you lost from your ulti back a little bit from your second cast W. After that, there's no more
Oh,
mechanics.
that's how you play it? Because I
Yeah.
play it in ARAM, and I don't actually understand Mundo, admittedly. I'm like,
Yeah, so his
I'm like, I
W's.
know gray health you pop to heal, and I'm like, cool.
Yeah. So if you W in the first like brief moment, the initial part of your W, if you take damage, you store the most gray health in that first 0.75 seconds. But then after, in
Oh,
like the next second or the next, because I think the whole thing lasts like 2 seconds. After that, you just store a little bit of gray health. So if you
so it's kind of like Garen W, where you have to really time the
initially,
healthy period. Okay.
yeah, you time it right before you
Oh.
get hit, and then if you take a big burst, it's like Rengar W as well. You can feel the big burst a lot. So
Mhm.
you W and then you ulti, and then you pop your W to heal and get your gray health back. You got like Spirit Visage, massive. Um, what other things? The level 16, if you ulti around three, you get a or around multiple, you get an increase in health. So it's only at level 16, but your healing on your ulti is increased by the number of
Enemy or teammates or both?
enemy in it.
Okay. I was
So
like,
yeah, it's like gargoyles back in the day, right? So,
makes
but
sense.
it's
Yeah.
only level 16. He's like one of the only champions that has like a level 16 exclusive like thing. Here it's a Kale.
Like
Um,
Kale and him is the only ones that come to mind. Then
yeah,
I didn't even know that was a mechanic, and I've played the character multiple times. I just like tank. Cool.
yeah. Dude, owner
Throw
didn't even
creeper.
know you could pick up your passive, bro.
I refuse to believe that though, because you play against the character all the
Yo, he
time, and the
wasn't
mechanic
doing
is
it. He wasn't picking up his passive. I don't know. What's the
he
explanation?
might not
Tell
know
me.
what it does, but he must like
He just
there's no
ignored
way.
it. He was just like, "Fuck this! I'm not touching this. Get this
I
thing away
that
from
that
me."
that looks sketchy. My mom told me never to pick up random drugs off the
There's
ground. I
just
mean,
needle on the ground. Yeah, hell no.
yeah, it's a taboo in Korea or something. Anyways, yeah, that is definitely a notable thing about draft. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on draft, by the way? Because that
I
was
mean,
the topic.
we were just talking about G2 and like the Mundo thing, draft thing. There's some other draft things we could talk about, especially when we get to the Gen.G series. I have some draft ideas, but let's just finish up with the Western team. We should have an NA exclusive podcast, okay? So we're not gonna get into it too much. So we'll save the FlyQuest stuff for that. But essentially, FlyQuest fucking collapsed, and it was miserable, and I hated it. And I was really sad because I really felt like this was FlyQuest's time to shine. This was FlyQuest's time to make it to top eight and beat an Eastern team with a decent draw, right? That's what we were heading towards. We went to 5 games against Gen.G. I'm just talking about it. I said I wasn't gonna talk about it. I'm talking. Went to 5 games against
I was like,
Gen.G.
okay.
Last year. It was so close. We went to 5 games against BLG this year. It was so close. We're playing so well. Just a couple of oopsies here and there. And then this year we have Whippo drama and period gate. God, it's so stupid.
Oh my
We have
god.
inspired. Masu loses his mind. Oh, no, sorry, I keep saying Quad loses his mind. Masu already
Master
lost
keeps
his
catching
mind.
strays,
He
and
is
I'm
catching
like,
strays. I'm sorry. No, Quad is just Quad got the Jensen tree. Quad ran it down, and Inspired was like, "You're dead to me. Right, you are dead to
yeah.
me. Just another NA player to me." It's so sad. I'm pretty tired, but so I'm gonna go on this. I had this thought. I'm sorry. We're gonna go on this crazy tangent.
Go for it.
We'll see where this goes.
Let him cook.
I have this theory about Fearless actually, and
Uh huh.
Fearless, the development of Fearless in its introduction, it actually completely screwed over the West. It screwed over Western teams. So think back to all the times that the Western team actually were able to beat, upset, be surprising, or be competitive, right? What FlyQuest did most recently, and plenty of other Western teams, right? They had unorthodox weird picks, right? Inspired played Nunu, and Doran tried to TP out of Nunu of the Nunu route,
New
right?
E, yeah,
Nunu E,
I
because he didn't
remember
know
this.
how it worked, right? And then um He did the same
It's
thing against
over.
Gen.G, right? Inspired played like freaking Nunu and like other weird stuff against Gen.G. They played Zeri mid and stuff like for quad, and they were able to take these surprising games against Life and Gen.G. PLG, I think they did the same thing this year where um, they didn't play unorthodox picks, but they got so good at these like specific picks, right? Like I guess like Urgot for Buppo is one of them, right? He played the Urgot and the set, and Inspired actually didn't play that. He played pretty meta, but his Trundle was so good. It felt like he was like the best Trundle in the world. That
Mhm.
had all these unique picks and stuff. You know what fear though? It conditioned the Eastern teams to be better at a wider variety of champions. Because for years, all they had to do was just put Keen on Cassante, and they're just the best team in the world forever. Like, they're just uncontestable. You have to ban it. But now you play Cassante, it's no longer in the series anymore. And so in your practice all year long, right, Gen.G and Hanwha Life, like, they have to play against these other random Korean teams that are trying weird shit against them all year long. They get conditioned to the randomness that like the Western teams were able to bring. Look back to old G2, right? Why did they keep beating SKT one and like Gen.G back in those days? It's because they kept playing like Pyke and Syndra bot in like weird Silas angles and freaking weird stuff in top lane as well, like
Pike
Ryze and
mid
Nico
lane,
top.
actually, not just Pike. Now that I
Yeah,
think about it, like it's Pike mid, top, and support. They just played it everywhere.
they played it everywhere. They played like Senna and like weird Senna drafts and weird Syndra. They played all this weird stuff, right? Um, and they took everybody by surprise. They didn't know what the hell to do. But now, right? Look at like modern day League of Legends, where it's like, yo, everybody, all the Korean teams, they have to all increase their champion pool, but beyond four, right? Because you can ban three champions and then you can pick the four. But now everybody has to have like eight champions in the kit, and now you have players like Canyon playing Kane and Nidalee and Kha'Zix and all these weird shit, right? Um, like I think and, you know Faker's playing Mel and stuff like that. It's like every good team had to expand their champion pools and be elite tier on so much more stuff, and they see more stuff because they're play
Mhm.
in scrims and in regular season matches, right? DRX and DNX, FearX, they're all playing these weird ass shit against you to try to surprise you in fights. And so they're just used to it from the Western teams. The Western teams can't surprise them, right? BLG got surprised by Anivia, and Top Esports got surprised by Dr. Mundo, right? But like that's just like one bit here and there. It wasn't like it
And you
felt
can't
like,
use it again too. That's the other X factor. I
oh
think
yeah, you can't use it again, yeah.
the surprise part, I think you're right, but I think the X factor is I could still pressure you with Pike. Now I'm like, shit, I have to choose between the Pike ban and a super meta broken Zeri whatever, right? Zeri Lulu combo or something like that. And like they're like, I'm not gonna ban Pike, and then they lose two games. That's actually a classic of a series that the Western teams beat the Eastern teams. Is a pocket pick comes out of nowhere, it wins, and now the draft is completely in shambles.
That's
If you
such a good
get your
point.
win now,
Yeah.
doesn't matter. It was like, okay, cool. You're super new. I'm never gonna have to think about that again. You get this one.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
What's next, brother? And they're like, oh shit.
And then I think also, we keep talking about Pike, right? Keria is also a unique player in that, like, he himself and all those years he spent playing weird shit in the bot lane also conditioned Korea, at least, the top team, to play against weird shit. Remember that whole year when Keria played Caitlyn and Callista and Varus
Every
and
80
Jhin
carry you could
support,
think of that made no sense. He played it
right?
bot, and I
Ash,
lost my mind.
right? Like that whole era that the East had to go through, where China and Korea are all playing that bullshit in bot lane, it conditioned all of them to be like good at weird stuff. I think that's a big deal,
Mm.
right? Beryl got like it went from the Western team being the weird stuff and the Korean teams playing the normal stuff and just with it to Beryl's playing Heimerdinger, right? In your World's Finals and stuff like that. So the East like developed their own weird style. The development of Fearless forced it onto everybody. And another weird tangent that I just came up with just now is that I actually do think Fearless made it worse for T1, and they had to adapt with stuff like Mel and Seraphine support because like it is that old thing, right? T1 had all these OP picks that they're unbeatable, right? Carry a Bard, carry a Nico, you just lose the game. pretty fearless. You have to ban it or take it away every single game. But now post fearless, it's like okay, you get the Bard out of the way and you take the Nico, and then you don't have to deal with it ever again. And then Carrier has to keep pulling more tricks out of his hat. Okay, I'll play Seraphine. Okay, I'll play Renata. Okay, I'll play blah blah blah. But if you get to 5 games and it's like, I think a team does their homework. My God, am I? There's a way for KT on it. We're jumping the gun. We're jumping the
We
gun.
haven't even previewed it, yeah,
We
but,
haven't even jumped the gun. But I'm
I
thinking about it
I
now.
agree-ish. I think that Faker, you specifically, has the deepest usable on stage champion pool in history, for a mid laner, and so in that sense, yeah, you can't really squeeze him out of stuff. There are stuff he's less comfortable on, he might int a bit, but he's just always finds ways to bring impact into a game with basically anything. But I do agree with the carrier stuff. Like maybe he is the reason why we are like fearless even is a thing now, just because they're like, okay, we're just we've already conditioned it. People are more receptive to this idea now because it's like so common. Um I think it's a net benefit though. We never really got a chance to talk this year about the impact of fearless. I'm a lot more excited to not see the same shit every game.
Yeah.
I think that this is just the early stages. So like a lot of people haven't done the, like drop a game to just play out all the other team's like favorite characters, even if it's dumb. Like let's just burn it. We
We're
haven't seen like
getting we're getting close to that though. I genuinely feel like
yes,
that's what KT did against Gen.G is they burned through the champion pool. And AL did to T1 as well. Yeah, it's very interesting. The strategies are super in like early development. I agree.
and
Very
I just
fun.
love seeing like niche characters come up more often. Like it's just like now I don't bat an eye when they're just like, yeah, they picked Nibia. I'm like, a little weird, but like, yeah,
Yeah.
as your fourth wave character pick, yeah, sure, why not?
Yorick and Nivea to end it
York
all.
and Nibia, no, but I guess the fate of the universe on the line, your
give me
fucking legacy on the line. Give me York and
give me
Nibia
Yorick
into
and
that,
Nivea in group every fight. Let's go.
and never
Uh
split push with her.
there's
Oh
But like that, my point though, it all ties together. Is like this. It's what's fucking NA though. I do genuinely believe this is making the gap bigger. Fearless makes things more complicated, and the better teams are better at more complicated. It,
yeah, we just play less. It's
we,
of course.
we play less. That's one big issue. Like they are better solo queue. That's another big issue. But I do genuinely believe that like because there is already a gap, it's like they're at the top of the gap, right? So they get to spend all their time learning new shit now. You have to just catch up, bro. It sucks. uh,
Got to learn the normal shit because
yeah,
that's what we used to do, and then we pull out pocket stuff that's unpracticed, but like it's still something you're good at. So it had a huge benefit, a shock factor, right?
yeah,
Like the name is shock factor now.
yeah.
The game is just shock
And there's
factor
so much.
all the
The
time.
shot factor every 5 game series has shock factor. Every single one, instead of the where oh shit it's new, right? Like oh shit it's very mid. Yeah, it's just like okay, well. Also, if it works, it only works once. Yeah, very
Only
interesting.
works once part is very like it's such a underrated thing. Like so
Huge.
many people used to just like Gala Kaisa. I'm like, guess you're gonna have to waste a ban now, buddy.
Yeah, dude, Hanwha Life just banned Nunu after they lost to it. They're like, fuck this shit. We're not playing it. I don't know how that works.
That's
uh,
some weird shit. Don't touch me with that.
some Western stuff, man. I don't know. I don't get it. What does Nunu do?
What is new news?
They don't have cat.
I'll never forget it.
So funny. Yeah. Okay. So what are we talking about? The West is
We
fucked.
went through the
Anyways.
West teams. We went through a little bit of Fly Quests,
All right,
and
100 Thieves
then
was awesome. Honestly, they were great. I love Dokla. The Dokla memes are great. We're gonna do some roster speculation as well in another episode. Um, let's just say FlyQuest Dokla to replace Buppa would be absolute cinema.
oh my god, things I would give.
That would be absolute cinema. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about more. We have to talk about Gen.G, right? So let's go through their first
We
series.
have to.
Absolute cinema series. I actually thought this series convinced me that they were gonna win Worlds, and fuck, they did not. Gen.G versus Hanwha Life was crazy good. It was so fun. It was tied with ALT1 for one of the best series in the whole tournament in the whole year, and like up there in the history books, bro. Um,
Mhm.
God, that was such a fun series. Like, let's talk a little bit about Hanwha Life. Viper Life Esports has never been more true. Holy cow, is that guy good? Viper is
Guy
really,
is built
really,
different.
really good. if he was on a different team, he would be like winning worlds right now. Maybe he is like, okay, in my opinion, from my most recent opinion, my updated opinion of ADC, I think Guma is the best, and then Viper, and unfortunately Ruler's dropped to third. That's just my
Mhm.
yeah. It's a hard contest though. They're all really good players. Um, give me anything you got on Hanwha Life.
Yeah, I think Viper Life Esports is unfortunately way too true in this series. I think game two is one of the funniest matches I've ever seen. Like fun and funniest matches I've ever seen. They were going to win the game, and then like who was it again? Was it Delight and Zeka or was it Peanut and Zeka? Like
The
just like these
Light and
one
Zeus got one shot under turret.
they was yeah, they were just like bozoing around and just like no flash, just a raw Ori ball, just sitting there, gets killed, game continues. And I'm sitting there like, no, not like this. We cannot let the game end like this. It was like a 59-minute game. I think I got my pick'ems right because of this game alone.
Oh
Because the average
damn.
game time is about 30 minutes, 30-ish, low 30s. This whole tournament, I was like, oh shit. My like upper bound, it was a 55 minutes or 50-minute plus game. Bet is not going to happen. This game was insane. I think that what are my other notes are like Viper did not die once until they like dived the fountain basically. Like he literally did not die on Ziggs.
Uh,
And he was playing into J4, Nautilus, freaking Gwen on Keen, right? This is just like it made no sense to me. How they only stayed in this game because Viper played out of his goddamn mind. I think he is at least top two. I agree. He just needs a team around him. It's weird to me because I think Delight was really good back in the day, like in previous years. I think he was a little bit underwhelming throughout the series, but I don't think he was giga bad. I do think I have to call out Zeus for flashing for on Ambessa and losing level 3 against Gwen, which is a matchup that in my opinion, should be at bare minimum even for Abessa, if not favorable. And he just like threw that away as well. I think Zeka also. I don't think he choked per se. I think he just played at the level he normally plays at. I think he peaked at DRX year, and we've been waiting for that high again, and he'll show it a little bit. But no, he just
it's been downhill.
yeah, he peaked. But you know, you peak and you win worlds. That's a fourth seed through
Pretty good.
play-ins. All right, it's
Pretty
pretty
good.
good.
Pretty good peak.
And then Peanut. That tragic Shinzao ult
Uh,
in game 2 where, the setup is all there, they've got the enemy AD carry, like, all dead to rights, and then his Shinzao ult, which is not his fault, really, like, he just clicked it at the right timing for normal, it interrupted AD carry being knocked out of the Baron pit and or knocked into his team, and just completely screwed over the game, from there. In terms of momentum, there was still so many back and forths, but it felt like this series was pretty much a one man show. Unfortunately, I think the Hanwha Life team is good. They're just not good enough. There's a lot of good qualities across the team, but as a team, as a unit, I also agree with you. I thought I saw this. I'm like, oh, damn, Gen.G is about to 3-0 KT in a handshake. Like it's going to be a complete bodying. I do think Ruler also played pretty well, but he didn't play as well as like Viper had to play to win the games. And then I do think notably, my last point is I do think notably during this series, and that it wasn't a big deal to me because I was like, oh, they don't need it. I don't think Chovy played like insane. I thought he was like relatively muted in terms of his role in these games. When I watched it, I was like, he's doing his job. He's
yeah.
playing well, but I didn't see any highlights from him in I didn't see any notable highlights that I can remember at least.
Yeah. I think that's kind of. I almost feel like that about Chovy every world. Where it feels like MSI he dominates almost every world player that's doing his job very well. He's the best at doing it. But I do agree where it's like it feels like regular season Chovy, playoffs Chovy domestically, MSI Chovy, he's actually making monster plays. Been considered one of the best players in the world or the best player in the world
The
for a very
best.
long time. You expect him to make absolute highlight reel monster plays at Worlds, right? And he doesn't. But yeah, we'll talk more about Chovy. Oh, do I have things to say about Chovy? Let's finish up Hanwha
Same.
Life though. Um, I think this roster is just constructed. I think that
Mm.
Zeus and Viper don't make sense to be because Zeus is also the same thing that he was on T1, the strong side carry top laner. And he can play weak side champs and he can play weak side, but he is like the best world class at being strong sided, at playing a carry top, just like Bin. And the reason why he did so well on T1 is because Gumayushi is like the weak side king. Gumayushi doesn't have a support. Bro's support is on the other side of the map, you know? So I just think like the way this roster is like it came out, right? When they started in first stand at the beginning of the year, I remember it's like they're playing three carries, right? It's carry top, carry jungle, carry mid. If they're playing four carries, the carry, AD carry, right? Like everybody is like playing a damage champion. They're just so much better than everyone that's cooking them. But you know, everybody knows at this point, at this level of League of Legends, everything goes to 5v5 team. Almost always tank, ADC, mage, support, something like that. That's almost every game. Um, Maybe you substitute things with the stuff like that. But yeah, I just feel like both Bin and Zeus kind of suffered this tournament. Have really good ADC, but it just doesn't feel like it was the meta. Their playstyle did not fit in the meta, and they were still really good, but it's a couple of flips as well, right? Zeus flipped an early 1v1 against Gwen, and Gwen is really, really nerfed on this patch. And that basically made it so that what should be a 40, like 4% win rate champion, it just got first blood, and it's chilling, and Gwen scales like crazy. That was a big deal. I also think his Camille game, oh my god, that early game lane swap was like super weird. Like I think it worked out very, very poorly for Hanwha Life. He was playing Camille and like he never based, he overstayed in a lane swap and hid in a bush to kill Ruler. And they sent three flashes to get one kill on Ruler. But what ended up happening is Keen is just playing Cassante and he gets like four plates and a huge CS lead, and Zeus can never contest him side lane. Game's already. Zeus flipped a lot of plays that did not work out, right? And it's like he's just imagine he's Keen or Doran that plays the weak side. They don't flip the plays and they just let Viper carry the game. Imagine if like the difference in mentality is huge. Um,
Mm.
Players like Zeus, right? Where Zeus, right, he plays on T1. They're flipping every single play. The entire like playbook of T1 is flip the play. Is just flip it, bro.
Yeah, the T1 Baron Rush is a thing, man, or Otacon these days, but the Baron Rush was a thing because, they're like, "We'll flip it, if we win enough flips, we'll win a best of 5," and
Just
they
send the engage. Just go in, man. Like we'll out hands them. Like that's the T1 playbook. But Hanwha Life is like Peanut and Viper and Delight. They're from like Gen.G type stuff where it's like very methodical. Here's my take on Delight. Well, I think Delight is one of the best supports in the world on engage supports. He had a really good recon game. Um, but when he's playing Poppy, it's not a traditional engage support. More of like this weird
control tank.
skirmishing. I don't even know. Poppy's a very weird champion, right? I think she's technically a Vanguard, I guess.
Okay, I could call it that, yeah.
But she's just a weird playmaking champion, right? Doesn't have straight up outright engage, but she has this crazy game changing ultimate, crazy game changing W, wall slam and stuff. Just sucks at her. Oh my god, he's so bad at
And
her.
the ground anti-dash is insane. Like, it's
Very
super
clutch.
impactful.
Yep, very impactful. But not like Gage, right? Like weird counter engage. He was really bad at it. Like Delight's also really bad at Bard. Not good at Bard at all.
Oh,
So, like I think like that's Delight's biggest weakness. Oh yeah, he played the Pantheon game one. Oh my god, I think like he's just not that kind of player that plays anything but engage, right? His Pantheon is like this fightery type of champion where you have to play games weird and you're not straight up engaged, right? Like a support that provides damage, you have to play a bit more carry. I feel like just that's just not Delight. Delight is good at Recon and Rel, like he goes in, he
super
makes
good.
big wombo combo. And Duro, I think, is much more well-rounded. Anything else on Hanma Life? I mean, Zeka. I think Zeka is just very mediocre. For a top tier
Yeah,
mid laner, he's gonna be one of the best in the LCK. But when it comes to contesting the best, I feel like unless he plays
he's mid
Akali,
in mid.
yeah, he's mid and mid. If he plays Akali, I think it's great, but you can only play it once, right?
You can only play it once. I think he's nerfed by this kind of thing too. His pocket picks are just exhausted much quicker.
Yeah,
No, nothing else on Hanwha. I think it's only thing that is I think this team could have easily, not easily, they could have made semis in some of these brackets. There were matchups that they could have matched into where they would have gone through,
yeah.
and that's a shame. But no, they were not good. They were not a tournament winner in any world.
I think anyone's legend was better than them. Yeah. I don't. I think I personally, I would love to see that. Oh, would I love to see that matchup?
Oh, it would have been
That
sick.
would have been a sick matchup to see. I firmly believe anyone's legend was better. I think Tarzan would. But Peanut's still really good
Mhm.
though. Of course, Peanut's.
He's
Um.
also retiring now. We should mention it.
Oh
This
yeah.
was his swan
Oh,
song.
oh,
Well,
oh
well,
seven.
not retiring per se. He's unofficially retired because he couldn't push back military service anymore.
He could come back. Back.
He could come back.
Return to the
I
nut.
hope.
My God.
Peanut
Last
to
nut.
NA.
Yeah, this was his final nut though. Oh seven Peanut. We'll see you next time. Maybe I don't know.
One of the all-time best junglers to has he ever won worlds though? I don't think so.
No.
He's just one of the best junglers to never win worlds then.
Yeah, he is one of the best junglers to ever win. Um, yeah, really insane, really long tenured player. Been on so many rosters. Been on Tigers. Been on weird LPL team. On Gen.G and stuff. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Gen.G finally. This is like the
That's what
dessert.
I'm here for.
This is what we came for, right? We talked a little bit about Gen.G in the Hotman Life series. This was the Giga series. Oh my god, did Gen.G play so good. Everybody was clutch, everybody was locked in. And you think going into KT, who has the most fraudulent run you've ever seen in your life, right? They go undefeated in Swiss by beating top esports, international frauds, and like some Western teams, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
then they go to the quarterfinals. KT gets the freest draw. They probably get the weakest team, right? CFO, we didn't talk about them that much. They probably deserve to be talked about, but they did eliminate FireQuest, so I'm kind of pissed at them. They're pretty good, honestly, right?
Yeah.
CFO was pretty good. KT, but they're still one of the weakest teams in the top eight. KT 3-0'd them. Fraudulent run, right? Everybody thinks Gen.G is going to destroy them. I actually don't even consider. I don't even I honestly don't even think about the upset prediction, right? Like in previous years, I always be like, "Oh, what if DRX beats Gen.G?" Like, no, it's bullshit, right? And then I actually predict, nah, DRX is gonna beat Gen.G. This year, I had no intention of even thinking that KT would win. It was an afterthought
No,
for me.
no, no one was thinking. If we did the podcast, I would have been like, it would be funny if they won. But KT had a fraudulent run up to this point, not and in the sense of like they beat basically easy targets the whole time, and I'm like, great. I'm happy for them. They made semis for the first time in org history, or at least recent org history.
Yeah,
Great. But they were
BDD
playing against
deserves
like,
it. BDD and Cuz are playing great. Oh my god, yeah, so good for them.
yeah,
They actually just fucking destroyed Gen.G though. They completely annihilate them. It's not even close, right? Um, the first two games are fairly close, right? The first game, game one, is really close actually. Game two is also really close, but if you look at game three and game four, scores are like 15-2 or something ridiculous. Like I just gotta pull them up. It is disgusting what happened in this semifinals. So I set the stage. Why don't you talk about it a little bit? What happened, Gen.G?
yeah. So in Gen.G KT, I think this is the first time. I think actually, even if I take into account T1 Gen.G at a Worlds, right? In the past, I would say that if Gen.G threw or Gen.G whatever, right? It's because they collapsed in such a way that they just didn't play like themselves and they didn't get leads or anything like that. They just they just lost to like early in pressure or whatever. Chovy made a mistake. They got to late game, still make more mistakes. Game one specifically, why I'm setting the table this way is this is actually a game where uh well, I would say this is a game where Gen.G, had massive leads. They, made leads was like a 4.6K or something. I can look it up, but like they were
Yeah.
up, and I was like, oh yeah, I mean like KT got some like got a kill early. I'm like, very cool, and then Gen.G like is 5 up. There's like 5-1. Everything's snowballing. They get Otacon, they get a Baron, like they're doing all the right things. They're like doing the super Gen.G methodical play. I'm like, damn, they're so good.
Yeah.
And the whole time, like if you watch the co-streamers, like I know Dom or Kedro, they're like also complimenting Gen.G. I'm like, yeah, like we're all like talking about like, yeah, Gen.G in the finals. Gonna be very good today. So like I think that's what was weird about this. They looked strong, they looked like they knew what they were doing. They were methodical, and this is the first time I've watched like against a what it, to me is like by definition like pretty much full power, full enough for world standards. Gen.G just lose. They got outplayed. KT never looked like they were scared, discouraged. They never looked like they like gave a shit that they
Yeah.
had Otacon, they had Soul. Like
Sure.
they're like, or sorry, they had Soul, but then Otacon was taken, right? And Baron was taken. They're like, oh, whatever. We'll just play it out. Well, BDD was a monster in this series, in this game specifically as well. Game one on the Yone, one of the most impactful up with Zekas, one of the most impactful Yones I've just seen. Period. I'm like, he was playing so many fights on the edge. He did in a couple where he went in. I'm like, I don't think you need to go in there. But then he just like did not care, and he kept playing out of his mind. Duck Dump's Caitlyn also made a lot of impact. I think that this game was so pivotal to the series, and I think this game is the reason why the series went the way it did. Because I don't think Gen.G was actually choking up until this series, and then I think they just were shook. They're like, KT did that.
Yeah.
We picked like KT's here because they got picked by Gen.G in playoffs this year,
Yeah.
and like all the series of events that led to KT being the seed they were and being at Worlds to do this match against them all happened. I think this match was cinema. I think this was one of the most interesting back and forth games I've seen because like too often things snowballed. This was just like ups and downs and ups and downs. Both people landing haymakers, but you could tell that the momentum was going toward KT. Even if KT lost this game, I actually still think it would have been like a 5 game series then. That's all. That's the only thought I have on it. And then besides that, I think Peter didn't play like a carrier level of Nico, but he did manage to get a couple. Like he didn't give up, but I don't think he's a Nico god or anything. I think Peter is a very much an average player. He's playing it because he doesn't want the other team to have it.
I think Peter's pretty. Peter Parker. Peter played pretty well. Peter Parker played pretty well. Um.
Peter,
Yeah.
yes, Peter Parker.
I think the main thing that we're not talking about with game one, and you're saying about throws and choking and stuff like that. I disagree a little bit. If you have to remember a certain canyon on Vi going really, really deep into the base, he ulties the Caitlyn, she flash nets back, and then traps his ass.
Perhaps the GA
It
as
was
well.
really
Yeah.
well played by Dum. Okay, he trapped the Vi ulti and the GA afterwards, like you're saying, right? Really well
Hmm.
played. But that was the massive throw. That actually started the int train. Because Canyon ints, right? He does that, he's dead. All of Gen.G tries to salvage it and save him or do something, and they run into a Nico ulti, and then BDD gets behind them and gets the big monster flank, right? And then you have that skirmish afterwards where it becomes very even, where Keen clutches it up and they actually get some kills back and stuff like that. But it is Ruler that makes the final, that makes like the actual choke that like causes them to lose game one, where he's like sitting on 1 HP on Corki, and he Valkyries over, and BDD just Q3s him, and he dies instantly. Like,
Yes, in that like big fight in middle lane, yeah,
yeah, the
near
big
the
fight.
bot jungle.
It was right after Canyon inted. It's the same fight, right? So like Canyon inted, and then they started this train of inting where like Cooler inted right after, and it caused like them to lose Soul, and then they lose Soul, and they lose Baron, and like yeah, the game's kind of just over, right? Oh, and then there's the
I
insane thing where freaking what's his face? Cuz like is on Jarvan and he gets the Elder Soul, he gets the Elder Dragon, he's hitting Chovy. Chovy gets his Seraphs at the perfect right time to not get executed. Holy
He
cinema!
barely doesn't touch, and he just, like, walks out. I'm like, "What?"
Yeah,
Yeah,
holy
but
cinema.
I agree that these things happen, but these events also transpired, like, later in the game. What I'm saying is, like, I think the setup at Gen.G looked like this is typical Gen.G. Like, they were very
Oh yeah,
dominant,
yeah, yeah.
very controlled, and then and then it just went like, there were just moments where it went south. Like, KT was scrappy, they got some kills, but I'm like, "No, it looks like Gen.G has the momentum." Yes, once the cannon int happened, damn, I felt like
The
this was, like,
series was
the
over. It ended the
I was like
series.
I'm like, "Oh, this is happening now," right? Like, Chovy had a good play. He did flash through the blue wall and then put down his rocks down aggressively and pretty much, like, smash, was it Duck Dome and someone else? There were 2 people there that he missed the E, but they were dead because of the flash play. I'm like, "Oh, yeah. Chovy's playing aggressively on Talia. That's great." Everything was there. I also think Perfect's Rumble ults comboed well with one of Peter's massive ults to end the game, as well as get them in the game, even though his scoreline wasn't good. Like, I think the other thing that I should mention is like Perfect does not play a lot of characters in the regular season. I only watched a bit of LCK this year, but like looked at his like stats. I'm like, no, he was like not particularly notable on a lot of characters. That's one of the main criticisms of him
Yeah.
in this series, as we'll continue to talk about after game one's like no, he played a lot of characters at a pretty decent level, especially against Keen, who in the previous series was on Keen Sante and like was out of was insane. Keen has been playing
And
incredibly well.
he had a crazy good Mbessa and Scion. This talking about lost. Yeah, Keen
Yeah, and the
definitely.
mismatch between him and Perfect, like maybe we should study. You know what really should be studied? It's like the at Worlds or just in tournaments in general. Why is the best top laner rarely given the chance to actually like win the game? And I'm saying this mostly because, like, I think about it, I'm like, Doran has, like, fathered Zeus so many times, and I'm just like, I don't understand. And I also think of it as, like, there were times where it's, like, so many bad top laners have won worlds.
Yeah. Well, I do think like I don't know. I do think for Zeus and Kingen, like that specific one in 2022, that just felt like Zeus was the better top laner, but it was his first finals and it was got nervous. Kingen didn't. Kingen flinched. King didn't flinch. Zeus did. I do think with all these other top laners, think about like Keen, Doran, 369, they're all losing to Zeus in the end, right? Theoretically, where it's like
Mm,
they're like Zeus is the one winning. And I think I do think it's like Zeus is just that good. And Bin, they're losing to Zeus and Bin, right?
and
They're
Bin,
they're
yeah.
the carry strong side top laners. And in the last few years, I just felt like that's just OP. And it's finally this year where it feels like weak side top laners is actually dead because of like lane swaps and that. Um,
Mm.
but like the years before, right? It felt like Aatrox and Yone and Gwen and Jax. These are all these monster top lane picks. But this year it's Scion and like I don't know Rek'Sai.
Cyan Rek'Sai is definitely not the same echelon, yeah.
Yeah. So and, like last year was like Gwen and Aatrox and Yone and stuff and Jax. I guess I think that's what I think it is for like, and I think like Keen he just got like completely let down by his team. Keen like is
Yeah.
definitely feels like his performance deserve besides his Yorick obviously deserved to win worlds. Like I feel
The
like
York we don't talk about the York game. That
yeah
was,
we don't well we're gonna
uh,
talk about it
we're
but
gonna
oh
talk about it, but yeah.
it's okay
Well,
Keen.
let's go on to game 2 then.
Yeah.
Game
Wait,
2.
so hold on. Okay.
Mhm,
To finish out game one. Oh wait, no. Okay, it was game. Okay, yeah. Let's talk about game two. So game
mhm.
two. Oh yeah, Gen.G wins, right? Gen.G wins. But it's still really close. It's actually pretty competitive the whole time.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was pretty much even up until like 30 minutes or 20 something minutes in the game. And then they were like there was just like a lot of small back and forths throughout the game up until that point, it felt like.
Yeah. Keen put a monster performance. Ruler put a pretty monstrous performance as well. Um.
Ruler Ezreal.
Yeah. Ruler Ezreal was good. Chovy was playing Galio. Hard to choke Galio. Alright.
Oh, okay.
Alright,
Step
let's
it
go to
up,
game
man.
three. Let's go to game
Let's go to game
three.
3.
Let's go to game three. So this is the downfall of Gen.G. Okay, so
Oh.
I'm gonna highlight something that I think was an absolutely massive mistake by the Gen.G people, the squad. Okay, the drafting, the coach, whoever it is. Okay, all year long in LCK. I can't confirm this, I didn't watch it, but this is what Casual was saying, right? Was that all year long in LCK, if you were a top tier mid laner, as in Chovy, Faker, Zeka, BDD, you got the respect Azir ban. Literally every single game. If they're on red side, you ban Azir. If your opponent's on blue side, I mean, if they're on blue side, if Faker's on blue side, Chovy's on blue side, you ban Azir on red side every single game. It was just all the matches, or else they would win, right? Azir is just that champion. He's just that guy. I do think that like the whole idea that you can trade Azir for Orianna because is so fake. I think it's so
Oriana Wednesday.
fake.
Oriana Wednesday.
Yeah, well, yeah, we know obviously. That's what everyone's saying. It's fake. It doesn't matter,
Oh
right?
no, because you said it's 0 Wednesday. I'm like, no, it doesn't.
Oh, whatever.
Normally.
Okay, no, Azir wins the game. He
Hmm.
wins the
Yep.
game. Okay? It doesn't matter. It's Sion into Rek'Sai. It's the same thing. Rek'Sai gets 50 CS up in 4 plates. It doesn't matter. It's playing against Sion. Orianna is playing against Azir. It doesn't matter. Orianna is actually a very good champion, but Azir is, I think, is that broken and that unbalanced, right? It took
Mhm.
Deka to lose on Azir for like the most unlucky, like 1 in a million Xin Zhao Azir ulti anti combo for them to lose, right? Like pretty much every mid laner is gonna win on Azir. That gets it. That's top tier, right? And I think just giving BDD Azir was the biggest disrespect. And Chovy, I felt like he knew it. I felt like he sensed it. I felt like he felt like tilted from the beginning of the game. Even though, because what doesn't make sense to me is why Chovy would start tilting after a win. And I do genuinely
Mhm.
believe Chovy started tilting because of this trade. Like he gave Azir to BDD, and then Chovy got one bad trade in the early game, and it felt like Oriana's lane is over. If you don't like have this incredible steady hand of push and prio and like poking the Azir out for the entire early game, if you ever let up once, Azir is fine for the rest of the game. That's what happened, right? I think BDD got like one or two good trades into Chovy and Oriana, and the lane was over. Like it felt like BDD had scaled already here, and the lane was completely fine. Solo kills, flashing into the Zir walls, Chovy like Oriana ulting nothing. It was just it was the absolute epitome of Choky. It's it was
I
insane. It was one of his worst games he's ever played, like his entire career. So
entire career. I'm pretty sure, yeah. So like let's first clear the air, like in the sense that Chovy has not been choky, like he's been called choky, but he's not really been choky at the last two worlds. I think he's been maybe
not really.
worse. No, definitely he's definitely been worse than his performance domestically. That I can admit, but not by so much that it's like choky, okay? It's more like he was let down by other factors and he just didn't play transcendentally. He
Yeah.
has been the number one, at least power ranking wise, he's been the number one mid laner for so long. And that's because he's been consistent, not just at domestic, right? Because there are domestic merchants like Top Esports. It's been dominant anything that's not named Worlds. But
Yep.
I think this performance was it was just so disgusting. He played terribly. He got solo killed in a way that like was unprovoked. It's not like the other person like outplayed and like came in. He like started the fight, did a phase rush trade after he already got ganked, and then he just got destroyed. It wasn't even
He's
close.
just
Like
trading
zero.
autos. He's just standing there menacingly.
Yeah, and I think this is my maybe cold, lukewarm take. I think this series was worse for Chovy's legacy than if he didn't qualify for Worlds. I actually think that sometimes when you don't qualify for that's like a great example is Rookie, right? He's been gone from Worlds. Like he's still considered a top five probably mid laner in terms of his legacy. But he hasn't qualified for Worlds in a hot minute until he didn't even qualify this year technically. You just saw him, right? But like people still have a positive opinion of him. I think Chovy has so much to lose and so from this series. Like he lost so much from this series, even though
No.
theoretically he got into Game 4 of a semifinals. That's pretty impressive for most players. but for his caliber and the reputation he's built up, him losing would have been fine if he didn't choke, but he actually choked. This was unequivocally a choke,
Yeah.
and it was extremely notable. And I feel bad for him, but I also think like he truly I've never seen such a high level player choke to this level um in such a boring way. Like he just fell over. He died like they fed him 2 kills later on after the like one was BDD himself. They didn't feed him. He just played BDD played poorly actually. He like dove, gave
Yep.
away a shutdown and they went 1 for 1. Like pretty terrible. And then they like spoon fed him another kill earlier. He went like 2-7 this game. I don't think I've ever seen a Korean mid laner do that poorly in a major match in a long time.
As it was really bad. Definitely one of his worst performances ever. I mean, if we didn't just watch Top E for one, it was one of the worst games at World. I think Top Esports
Agreed.
saved that for Chovy, but like up until Top Esports T1, it was one of the worst games at the tournament. It was really bad. Um, yeah, I do feel bad for Chovy because it feels like he spent like on when you accumulate the amount of mistakes the players made whole year, right? Think
Mhm.
about Faker. Okay, Faker made so many more mistakes this year than if you were to count them all up. Like Chovy by far is the player with the least amount of mistakes made this year. But like he just does it at the wrong time, man, and he makes it really bad. And he's been doing it for years. It's been like 4 years in a row he's done this. Four
Mhm.
years in a row. Oh my god! Like I think the last time he was genuinely choky, one of my favorite plays ever, is it was it was Gen.G versus DRX 3 years ago, 2022. Chovy's playing Rise. He's like taking the Gromp or some shit. Someone
The
shows up,
drop.
he freaks out, he flash, Rise ulti is away, and then you look at the map, there's nobody there. He scared himself to death. That is the definition of like what Choky is. Like
Yep.
he's just all in his own head. It's exploding in his brain. I do feel bad for him because it's like I felt like this was the first year. In the past years, I thought it was funny, right? Gen.G is
Mhm.
this really good team. Chovy Choky, the memes are great. This is the first year I felt really sad, actually. I felt like disappointed. I felt like even though I'm not a Gen.G fan by any means, I'm not a Chovy fan by any means. I just like good League of Legends though. Like to respect this team and to see them go out like the way they, especially in their last two games, like 17-3 in favor of KT, 15-2, like disgusting score lines. I, it was just not enjoyable for me. I think people all around the internet and on social media and on the co-streams were like having a blast and like being like, "It's
Like
KT time! It's
Schadenfreude or
crazy!
something.
It's
Yeah.
so insane! Like, what's even happening? Upsets, right? It's DRX 2.0." Like, I was just like so like, bro, like we were robbed of potentially like top tier Gen G winning and beating like something like some crazy storyline like where it's not even about like this unique underdog run, which is its own story, which is gonna be cool. It's gonna be interesting to watch. We were robbed of a like a story that we felt like we've deserved to see for years. Where
Mhm.
Gen.G, the best team, they climb the highest mountain, they defeat T1, and they fucking dominate 2025. Where it feels like this team was supposed to dominate every year since 2022. It's insane that it keeps happening this way. I felt so disappointed, man. I was like, I don't want them to lose. I don't want them to choke. I don't want them to get upset. I want them to fucking smurf on everybody and look really awesome doing
Like a new boss team around the league because it's been T1 for so many years, but T1 was 4th seed last year too.
it.
3rd seed, 4th seed.
Yeah, they're 4 seed last year, and T1 does that thing where it's like they look like shit for like a really long period of time, and then they bring it together Worlds, and it's like I think that story is also really cool. But it's not about like seeing a cool story now. I want to see something new. This is the same T1 run they've done like 3 or 4 years in a row now.
Hmm.
It's like the exact same T1. Destroy the LPL on one side of the bracket, come in as like looking really badly, and just get your shit together at Worlds and ramp up and just the whole thing. Like it's happened for like 3 4 years now.
Yeah, maybe the
Ah,
bracket's rigged. Who knows?
the bracket is they keep playing against like full LPL sides. I guess last year they got Gen.G, but
That's true. Last year they did get Gen.G.
last year they got Gen.G. Last year too, it's like
Uh,
and like Gen.G's beating T1 every single match all year long. They beat you in the finals, they beat you at MSI, they beat you in the regular season, and then at Worlds they lose. Like, come on, Gen.G. They last
they gotta
year,
rename Worlds just for Chovy's sake, dude. Like they gotta name it like MSI 2 or some shit like that. Like this is actually beyond. This is just such fuckery. I can't.
yeah,
Um, I also agree with you. You know, I'm not. You know, I'm not like a huge Chovy fan myself or a Gen G fan, but like I think he's earned it. Like this year, I felt bad for him. I was just like, dude, what the fuck? He
no,
actually should have won it this time. He should have been the best. And I do think it does mean that we have to have the conversation. Like, is like I had the take, and then maybe it was a hot take at the time because I was upset by how things transpired. My take was even if he wins World next year, he's never going to be in the conversation for best of all time for mid lane anymore. Like, I think it's past in the public persona unless like he won. What was he going to do? Win 3 in a row? Faker is already potentially going to do that again.
yeah.
Like, I don't think he can contest anymore because this performance, despite the fact he made semis, which is still an achievement.
I think we're actually getting to a dangerous. I think we're getting to a dangerous place in the narratives where we've repeated so many of the same storylines that like T1 is always going to get the benefit of the doubt, like no matter what, which they deserve. It's fair. It keeps happening, but it's like it's gonna make like the year feel meaningful, right? Because
Yeah.
isn't every year Gen.G going to dominate the regular season in MSI, destroy the majority of worlds, and just last series, and then like it doesn't matter how bad T1 plays. It doesn't matter how good Gen.G plays. If the result's the same, the fandom and the conversation and the way people perceive these things, it's not going to change. And I totally agree. Where Chovy is never getting over Faker. It's never going to happen in his whole career. It would be like we would be having to have this conversation in 10 years to actually consider Chovy be the GOAT. That's because Chovy spent the next 10 years winning like 6 trophies, right? Like Chovy would have to win 6 or 7 trophies in the next 10 years to be considered
Like
the
do it like
GOAT.
undefeated. He has to take out Faker. He has to take out Faker's kid. Like he's
Dude,
got to do like
he's got to do everything. Yeah, he's got to take out. Oh my god, he's like, yeah, like I okay. We talk a lot about Chovy. I also want to talk about Ruler. Well,
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
Ruler is in the very similar boat to Chovy, where year after year after year he's on this crazy super team, right? For Ruler it's Gen.G and then it's JDG. He missed a year. Then it's Gen.G again, right? Um,
Mhm.
losing to in these fashions, it's like yeah, it's always losing to lost a lot to T1, lost to DRX, now lost to KT, right? I feel like Ruler he has a different kind of choke where he doesn't do anything disastrous like Chovy does. Like Chovy's doing
Mhm.
actual disastrous things. Ruler is like, oh my god, the Faker Azir shuffle onto him, right? It's like it's just these small, tiny little mistakes slash outplays, right? The Faker Azir shuffle is like it's an outplay from Faker, but it's also kind of a mistake from right. Like if you look back at the famous Faker Azir, um, like Ruler could have flashed over, like mind gamed himself. Like he let himself get mind gamed, but he could have held his flash and flashed over if he was correct enough. And I
He
feel like
is. He should be a top 3. He can do it.
yeah, but he just didn't execute in that time, right? And mistake, and I feel like that's the same thing with Ruler. It's like didn't do anything like super astronomical, but that one mistake where he quirky jumps over the wall and just BDD just walks up and breathes on him and he dies, right? Like a game losing mistake. I think what was it? His uh came through. Oh man, I think his Lucian,
Game 3 and
right?
4 basically complete stomps, yeah.
So his Lucian, like he didn't do anything atrociously bad, as in like make any like big thing. Oh, okay, he did. He did walk up to BDD and just get ulted that one fight, right? But the game was like basically over at that point. But he did. He just walked up to a Cassiopeia and just got full on ulti. God.
Yep.
Um, it's just these things where it's like, man, he's just not the prince that was promised. Like every other game, it feels like you play this game any other year, like Chovy or Ruler just like clutches up and carries the game somehow. But he just walks into a Cassiopeia ulti, dies. There's no secret sauce. There's no cleanse. There's no flash. Just dead. Boom.
Mhm.
Um. So and Canyon, I mean, also I
Kennen we
feel
have to speak to, dude. As two jungler players here, Ken is supposedly one of the goats of the jungle. Like he's one of the best of all time in jungle,
he's been
internationally
considered
and
the
domestic.
goat. Yeah.
But
So,
this series, brother, this series only, at least, was pretty atrocious. I don't think he wasn't Kanavi bad. Think he's lucky Kanavi came out, but like I don't think I remember him being in the games for the
yeah.
last two games. I
Yeah.
don't think he did any. He has like one assist across the. He has two assists across the last two games.
Holy.
As as the goat of jungle against the team that they have stomped all year except for one best of five domestically in LCK.
Dude,
I
damn. Assist.
I
What the
it, and it's like two assists and he's playing Skarner and Skarner is a little harder when you're behind.
Garner
What
and
about Pantheon? He
Pantheon.
has
Oh my god. What the
on
fuck?
Pantheon. It's
Oh.
really disgusting, honestly. I again, you're never very few people look good when you lose a series, right? It's like there are times where like, King looked pretty decent in some games, but sure. It's just hard to because you're just so the way league works, it snowballs against you, right? But I think the eye test and as well as like the are these guys even any good? Like this vibe you get, this energy you get from them, we just can't. We can't really free. I can't keep giving Cannon and Ruler like free passes to be like these are the best players of this role or of all time, like top five, top three, top two, even. Cannon probably the number one. Like I can't think of a lot of junglers who are better than him historically, but technically he's only won
Once.
once.
Yeah.
He's won once, and then has he won two MSIs, one MSI
Or two
with Gen.G,
MSIs. Two MSIs. Two
two MSIs,
last year and
but
this
with Gen.G. Yeah, okay. So two MSIs and a Worlds. Yeah, I mean it makes him the best of all time so far, but would I be confident to say he's the GOAT in terms of like he won't be usurped? No, not at all. I think Jungle's always been the one that's like most ready to be surpassed as a GOAT conversation for that role.
yeah.
And
Do that.
it's just been long enough at Worlds specifically where I'm like in previous years, like that Red Kane game that I'll never forget from him, I'm like, damn, this guy needs a team. But what are we gonna do with this? Like, if you sat down and told me that a team could afford Chovy, Canyon, Keen Ruler, and Duro actually played fairly well. I think he played quite well for like him being slotted into this roster. But those four as your players, and you can't even go to a game five against KT Rolster with one of the weakest on paper KT roasters that have ever made it to like anywhere.
Yeah.
Uh
Peter and Perfect
Perfect
are
is not good.
nobodies. They're
Perfect's
nobodies.
nobody. Peter was in challengers like 3 months ago,
They're nobodies. Yeah.
and Duck Dumb has a track record, but he's also not like known to be a god like a top 580 carry
Yo,
in the world.
Duckdom was an
In FPX
absolute
last
bottom
year,
feeder. Yeah, he was a giga bottom feeder
oh my
just this
god,
year.
he was, he was a bum. Yeah, he was
Yeah, he
actually a
was
bum. So like
bum.
if you're gonna lose in that fashion, losing T1, sure, fine. T1's on their game against KT. I will. My hot take is like I don't know how to judge the finals because we're probably gonna preview it. But because I don't know how much of this is KT playing well. I
Yeah.
think KT played well in the sense that they played as an underdog. They weren't that stressed out when things went badly. They're like, oh fuck it, we have nothing to lose. Let's still do our best, right? And that's great. But in terms of actually like did I see things that convinced me these guys are world championship caliber, like some of the best? I think BDD showed that,
Yeah. That's crazy.
and then Duck Dumb and Ash. I think Cuz was decent throughout, but I felt like Gen.G just wasn't doing anything
Yeah,
in the last
they
two
no,
games.
you're 100%
Like,
right. It's the
right?
classic TSM, do nothing and lose. Like
Right,
game
right?
3 and game 4 were absolutely do nothing and lose. Yeah.
So it's really frustrating to me because like I think that BDD played so well, and like he's always been a top 5 mid laner for so long. The Wangzhou days, King Zone X, whatever they were called, Dragon X. He's always been very good, but he actually was a little bit of a choker for a while. Even at MSI, he was
Was.
the infamous just getting smashed by RNG, by like Shahu's like Malzahar mid, like any of this bullshit. Like they would always lose to this shit as the super heavy favorites. They would lose like they would go 6-0 in group stage and lose in the quarterfinals in
Yeah.
Worlds. Like
It happened
these
at
are the
Worlds, yeah, and MSI.
MSIs. Like he's a choker, and I think he played this game where he's like, I fear nothing. He played better this game than Chovy has ever played at Worlds.
Yeah. Oh,
Easily,
for sure. This series
easily.
BDD was insanely cracked. I mean, this year BDD has been insane. Casual said something kind of funny where like BDD has been like pretty good, but like never this level of good. Never been here before.
No,
And he's never deserved it before either. Um, yo, you could play League for 10 years and you could finally peak after 10 years, bro. It is possible.
it is possible. You could choke it away all those times,
For 10
but
years, but you could peak at the
maybe
Chovy.
if
He's just gotta wait his 10. He's gotta do his 10 years first. Maybe
yeah,
That's what
maybe if
Chovy
I
needs.
beat it, he's just like, dude, I no matter what I do, I will never be a bigger choker than this guy. So let me just play.
Yeah, it's like, yo, I've been there, bro. I've been there. I'm done. Like, that's what Chovy's only been playing for, I think, 6 years. Yeah, 2019
Nah,
he
I think
debuted,
he was on that Griffin roster.
or
He came onto the
2018, so 7 years. 7 years. So
um
3 more years, maybe Chovy will make his first finals. 3 more years. Oh
yeah, I'm
boy.
sorry, you can't be the best mid laner of all time or of even recent times if you can't make a world finals. I'm not even saying win worlds. Very few players win worlds, like obviously. And I
I
wouldn't say
Yeah, I'm starting to favor players like Knight more, because Knight is like nowhere near the level of like precision and laning that like Chovy is, but Knight's a playmaker. Knight fights, bro. He went out of Swiss stage blazing, bro. Like Knight.
he played better than Chovy did in this series,
Yeah,
even
yeah.
though they fucking bombed out and like he was trying to make plays. He was like when he had that he bought Medjai's on LeBlanc, and yeah, he gave away 10 stacks almost immediately after, but he played to try to carry, right? He played to be the best player on his team.
And Knight's
And
consistent too, right? Like is a consistent playmaker in that last year, right? He was at Worlds Finals Game 5 against Faker, making plays and playing well. And also he was at MSI, just barely losing to Chovy Gen.G as well, also making crazy plays. And it's like, wow, they never actually beat the Korean teams, but goddamn, is Knight like consistently just a top tier player?
yeah, and I almost respect it. His hands are worse, like at least in terms of laning and like uh yeah, mostly in terms of like laning phase as well as side laning and like knowledge of that.
Yeah.
Knight is a worse player than Chovy, like objectively throughout the mass majority of games. But like Fate of the Universe on the line, semifinals at Worlds, I'll definitely take BLG Knight every fucking
Yo,
time.
Knight's clutch. Like that's his thing. That's like a really hard factor to like quantify is like he is anti. It's insane, man. Like when you think about any other game that's not Worlds, like Ruler, Canyon, Chovy, they're actually mega clutch, bro. Like think about so many of
Absolutely.
the LCK domestics, the man MSI like 5 game series against T1 and anyone's Legends. Yo, Chovy was so clutch in those
So
series,
clutch.
so crazy good. All of Gen.G was crazy clutch. This collapse is insane. It's insane. I can't believe it's happening for a fourth time year in a row.
And
Um,
we're gonna get to year 5, and they're like, yeah, this year they went undefeated in regular season, undefeated at MSI, the Super Golden Road. They won EWC so hard that they just decided to name it the Chovy Cup.
oh
Like
my
it's
god.
gonna be, and then we're gonna be like, yeah, I think this year's different because I was thinking this year going to Worlds, I'm like, I don't want to let superstition or I don't want to let patterns dictate correlation causation, right? I don't want to just see the pattern and be like, yeah, this is what's going to happen again because he was so good at MSI this year that I was like, oh, he's finally done it. He's like a super clutch god even internationally. No, it's actually just Worlds is the problem. Like
Yeah, it's scripted, man. It's scripted.
if he wins Worlds, I'm like, oh great, you won one Worlds and you've never gone past quarterfinals or semifinals. Like, congrats, man.
I
You
mean,
can be like
I'll be
number
excited.
3 or number 2.
I don't know.
I'll be excited.
I don't
He
even
deserves
know
it,
if
but
I'll
he won't be
believe it.
number 1 anymore.
Oh,
I
you
don't know
won't.
if I will like give him the number 1 title for a long time now.
Oh
I'll say
no.
he's the number 1 like performing mid laner so far, and then we'll get to the world's tier list. And I'm like, all the facts are here, and he's second behind Faker in his like 35th year or whatever it will be.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I don't think there was ever a universal trophy ever over. At least in my mind, I would never. I don't think I'm ever giving it to anybody. That's not ever.
I don't think so either. Unless this game lasts for like another 30 years and then it's like some guy
Yeah.
just comes in and like revolutionizes the game and
I'm gonna be a
hard
boomer,
carries.
bro. I'm gonna be like, nah, Faker. You
Well,
know?
hey, what if the guy comes in an NA, revolutionizes the game, wins worlds with an NA
Uh,
squad? I think that one NA win is worth like 2 or 3
that's true.
target wins.
NA
I'm
is
just saying,
hard mode. NA is hard
it's the
mode.
training weights,
It
right? You don't
is.
have a real roster. But anyways, that's
It's like
I mean,
if for traditional sports, okay. I'm gonna do an Emily Rand moment here, but it's like LeBron James is like Faker, but like fucking like Steph Curry would be Chovy, right? It's like I don't care, man. No, fuck Steph Curry. It's all LeBron for me. I'm all about that. Michael Jordan. I don't know the old.
actually, it is a good comparison. I'll as an NBA fan myself, like it's the Jordan versus LeBron memes. Actually, that's the usual comparison because the Jordan's like the old head. He like won 6. He won 6 championships in a row.
Yeah, wow.
All 6 of the ones he went to in the 90s, he won. Like they weren't in a row because he retired for baseball for like 2 years and then came back. But he won 3 in a row and then 3
The
in a row. All the
fuck? He played
yes, he
baseball? That's
yeah, like
disgusting.
he like
My
decided he could
God.
be a pro at baseball for some reason. He did that for 2 years. Came back and then he came back and won 3 more in a row. So he won. He
Oh.
never. It was there was no time he lost a final in that 6 year span. But in the 80s, he actually didn't win a lot. So he only started winning when he got the roster together. But then LeBron comes in. LeBron wins a couple, but he actually lost a bunch at the beginning, and he hasn't won nearly as much. His win rate is way lower. He's like what is it, 3 wins in 6 finals or something like that, whereas or is it 4 wins, and then Michael Jordan's 6 out of 6. So it's like LeBron's been around, he has longevity, but for most people you're never going to beat Michael Jordan's record because the guy was just way too good,
Yeah.
um and way too much better than his opposition. I think that's the other thing for Chovy. It's tough because Chovy's not so much better than his opposition.
Yeah, it's true.
He has
Not.
those like statistical advantages, and the eye test tells me like, yeah, this guy is like basically the closest thing to a perfect player on planet Earth
Yeah.
when he's playing well.
It was
But
Ruler. Ruler's got that same thing. Yeah.
back in the day, Faker used to just body everyone, like everyone. And the fact that he's been able to be a top 2 player this long, it's like you mix LeBron and Jordan. Jesus Christ, we're so lucky to be playing in a world where Faker is still good.
This is Faker's world, and we're just living in it.
I
Goddamn.
My friend actually said, the girl who said that that didn't know anything about League and asked like, who said, "Oh, is why is why is the T1 so much more coordinated and like always has more people than the Chinese team?" She also said when we said Faker's like the goat, right, and he's the best player of all time. She's like, "Oh, I thought Faker was like a team or an entity," and I'm
Uh,
like, and I was like, I mean,
yeah.
in a sense, he
He
is because
is.
he's like.
He's like God, you know. He's just like he's one thing, but he's also all the things. Like he's
He's all
everything.
the things. Like people hear him whisper it as if he's like a deity.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, One other thing to mention is Gen.G went 29-1 in the in the LCK season this year. Like
yeah. They also have
I
just
don't
been
know.
shitting on KT for the last like 5 years straight, bro. Like they lost one series to KT this year. It was that 3-2
Yeah.
upset, which is a
Hmm.
big precursor. It's a big reason why
Yeah.
this like exact match was like so crazy because there's precedent. KT actually did it. But if you just look at the last couple of years, yo, KT usually gets 2-0'd by Gen.G pack it up, go home. Fucking KT does nothing, right? Like it's been years of getting. Same thing with DRX, right? Like DRX and KT spend their whole lives getting booty blasted by T1 and Gen.G forever. We need to just clutch it up. One series for the boys. It's so insane, man. All right, Gen.G gives me pain.
I think. Do you think this team's gonna break up?
I
If let's like ignore the fact that can they afford it? Let's
uh,
ignore the fact that like they don't want to
weird
play with it. Should
contracts
if I'm the
bullshit.
GM,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
should if I'm the GM, would I decide to do it?
Okay, and let's say we were just playing like we're playing like team fight
Football manager or
football
something?
manager. Yeah, yeah. We could just move.
Team building
Yeah,
simulator, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
call it. I'm down. Yes, I am. What I'm trying to do
Hmm.
is ah fuck. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think what you need is like okay. So my problem with the roster is that it changed Canyon. So Canyon was like the main character on, even though as the team was Showmaker and
Mhm.
Noguri and stuff. Canyon felt like he was like the main character, and I felt like him coming to Gen.G was like it was like Jensen going to Team Liquid, right? It was like Jensen was the main character of C9, and then he goes to Team Liquid to win the LCS split. But the main character of Team Liquid is Doublelift, right? This feels like it's the main character of Donwan is Canyon, then Canyon goes to Gen.G where the main character is Chovy. Like he loses his identity. But the thing is like this is the next level, right? Canyon and Gen.G are so good. They're the best team in the world for all this time. That Canyon still gets to be the carry jungler sometimes. He still gets to be that crazy guy. I think like even though it like Peanut wasn't right for it because Peanut made too many dumb mistakes, they just need to find that guy for Gen.G that's like he's not flashy. Like he likes to be the weak side player. He like they need the dog jungler. They need the doggy. They need to find a good boy in the jungle.
Yeah.
The one
Joey needs a good boy at the jungle.
Chovy needs a good boy to just like he lives for Chovy. You know what I mean? Like they need Umpty, but not Umpty because he's like just not good enough,
They
right?
need
But
an umpty style
they
player,
needed an
but
Umpty
better.
style play exactly, right? They had Peanut. They didn't like it enough because Peanut was choking alongside the rest of them. They have to find a guy who stops choking. I
So
don't
do you
know.
think they should keep Chovy?
They keep Chovy. Oh,
If they
okay.
want to win worlds, because they've already gotten every accolade, but they're never the most popular team.
Okay,
If they
so
want to win worlds,
yeah, if they want to win world, well, actually, the only good strategy you have is to further break up T1. Like, it doesn't matter what
oh,
you
I like this
do.
take.
The only your number one strategy needs to be break up T1, and then your secondary strategies are then thinking about who's on your team, right? So, like, let's say, like, if Gen.G could get Gumayusi, like, Ruler is probably better than Gumayusi for 99% of the year, and Gumayusi might lose his magic on Gen.G, right? Like, Gumayusi might not clutch up the same at Worlds, but the simple fact that you took Gumayusi off of T1, that might be enough.
Oh, I think that's actually a. I think especially if this was 2024, that's a very good take. I
Yeah.
will say they lost Zeus and they look exactly the same. Uh,
Well, okay.
well, they look at Worlds. They did not look
Yes.
the same at MSI or EWC or domestic. They look much weaker actually.
It is true. I do think, like, I actually thought Doran would kill T1. They wouldn't be able to make it to finals and probably win,
Me too.
right?
Me
I think
too.
it would kill
Absolutely.
it. So, what I think happened there is, like, yeah, T1 is so good, they, like, evolved to another level. I 100% think that, like, I think it's Gumayusi and Faker. They evolved to pick up the slack of carry that Zeus normally had. Normally, it's weak
Mm.
side Guma, strong side top lane, Carrier ditches bot lane to go help Zeus, right? And Faker just plays supportive mids. Faker started hard carrying games again. And Gumayusi started being the strong side Giga carry. And Owner actually took a carry role on too, right? Owner felt like he could play a very carry, but like always the engaged support role. Like today, like T1 evolved so that like I feel like the core of Owner, Faker, Gumu, Shikaria, they like got better this year. And Doran is still really good, but he's like adjusting to the team. I still feel like
Mhm.
Doran's by far the weakest player on this team by a long shot. Um,
But I don't blame him either, right?
I
Like,
don't,
he's
yeah,
so new to it, and it's a team that's played together as a super core for so long.
yeah, and they have this very unique style that they had to change up to accommodate Doran. Um, yeah, man, I do think you got to break up that core. Like it's not about Doran or Zeus as much, which is weird because like normally you'd think like it could be because we just didn't know like
Mhm.
because Zeus is so fucking good,
'Cause it was
right?
unthinkable, yeah.
Yeah, it was
Why would they get rid
unthinkable.
of Zeus? Haha.
Yeah. Um, I do think it's the core. I think like if you can get Kyria off of the team, like it'll destroy T1. If you get Guma off the team, it'll destroy T1. If you get anyone, owner, obviously Faker's never leaving off the team, right? But like
Yeah, we
if
can't, that's just impossible.
if Gen.G goes to owner and is like, we'll give you like $1 billion to come over, and he comes on, I don't think owner will be very good. I'm not even joking. I think owner will not be that good on Gen.G, but it'll weaken T1 so much that they'll actually get a chance to win worlds.
I agree. In the freak scenario that winning worlds is the only thing that matters, which it sometimes increasingly feels like it is,
Maybe it is,
uh,
yeah.
that might be the only way to do it. Jesus.
It's
Okay, so, one last NBA meme because, I got into the NBA this year, and so I've been watching a lot of it.
yeah.
There was a really crazy hot take someone posted on, like, Reddit or Discord, and it was basically like, there's this thing called emergency duress, where you get an emergency sub if someone, like, I don't know, dies, gets super sick,
Oh, yeah,
like
okay.
a family member passes, right? Like an emergency sub, right? And they were like, "What if we killed everyone on the Golden State Warriors so that they could replace everyone but Steph Curry with like better players at the last minute so they could have won this?" And then the guy reading the tweet was like, "What the fuck? What am I supposed to do with this? What kind of insane?"
Wait,
But
that's hilarious.
so I was just thinking when you were talking about it, I was like, yeah, what if we just took all of Faker's teammates away and then like I don't care what happens to them. It's just like screw everything else. We're gonna win worlds
Just put
and
him
by any
everywhere.
means possible. That was just the vibe I got from this conversation. I was like, Jesus.
Hell yeah, yeah, it's the most well, yeah, that's funny actually. Yeah. So like you just keep Gen.G the same, right? You just keep
Mhm.
Gen.G the same. But in when you reach semifinals at Worlds, you just kidnap Keria and you put him on your team. Like that's all you do. You kidnap Keria, you get him like one of those face filters so that he looks like Duro and you just can't tell. And then he just clutches up. But no, but like Duro's pretty good though. Maybe just do it with Gumi
It
or
was
something.
pretty good.
You
Or
just
you
kidnap
honestly,
owner.
just like someone sacrifices themselves to take owner and Carriot to their team. Like
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know, like Fear X like gives up equity and like the whole company just sold like, yeah, this is your team now. You own it. And he's like, oh,
Your
okay.
team is just to steal owner. It's owner and four like randos and four like silver players.
Remember,
So-
like when we used to have tournaments, like people would play spoiler, right? Like, sorry, not tournaments, group stage, right? And
Hmm.
like you're already out. It's like your job is just to in someone else's life.
Yeah, just make their lives harder. That's
That's the
that's
one thing I miss about it because like we've already had a year of Swiss, right? And like Swiss has its problems, sure. But and I still like it more, but I do think the the funny shit where like the team with nothing to lose just like goes ham after they get elim. They were like, dude,
oh yeah.
really?
It was like it was GAM versus TSM, right? TSM was gonna make it out of groups, I think in 2017. GAM was already eliminated. They beat TSM, so TSM has to play a tiebreaker against Misfits, and they fucking lose. Oh, and then Double F saves Flash for next year. Oh, the
Ah,
pain.
this is literally the definition of generational trauma.
Oh, it is,
Uh,
dude. The choking. This is why we're so offended by choking, by the way. This is why Chovy hurts us the most. Because we've been dealing it with Doublelift and Bjergsen's bullshit for years, man. And
for
fucking
years.
C9, will we C10? 0 and 10 week 2. Ah! Oh.
It actually just never goes away. It just gets you think you forget it, you think you've like gotten through it, and then it just wakes you up.
So many
I will
memories.
say though
Yeah.
that this is why Faker is so highly regarded. I've actually had this theory for a while, and like I kind of verbalized it recently, where I was like, I think Faker plays about 20% better at Worlds, but I actually think that a vast majority of humans just play worse at Worlds.
Oh yeah,
Period. Like,
yeah.
it's like to varying degrees, right? Like the debuff for like Chovy is like notable to the point where like it's such a huge difference that you notice it, right? But I really think that it's not that Faker plays like double as well at Worlds. I actually think he is playing better because like he's locking in, but for the most part, he's just playing well, and everyone else is playing like worse because they're nervous. The lights are bright. I think why Faker's the GOAT is because he had the best hands early on, but ever since I was winning, he kept being creative and figuring out ways to be relevant, adapting his style, and not having an ego in that sense. But he also, when it matters the most, he's just like, I don't give a shit about my KDA. Yeah, he's like, even when he was early in his career and he's a superstar in mechanics, 04 Faker could still easily hard carry the game.
Yeah.
Like it's like literally always been him, right? So I think that's something that needs to be studied. You mentioned it with Knight, right? And like I think Knight is just like light Faker light in this sense, right? Where he is clutcher because he doesn't care as much. He's willing to make plays. When it matters, he doesn't shrink the same way that Chovy does. And I think that in the
Yeah. He's
future,
like a YOLO fuck it kind of player. Let's ball.
let's ball. Like fuck it, we ball. Like he
Yeah.
doesn't care what your ranking on the tier list is, what your record is. Especially the first year at BLG, where like Elk was also out of his mind. That's a whole different conversation when we get to other roles in the future. But like, yeah, that's why we respect players like that. And I think it was just harder to verbalize because like when you see the peaks of really good players, it's so enticing. You're like, dude, like if only they didn't have this personality flaw, they would be such a great leader, such a great partner, such a great whatever, right? But like it's just like that memes. Like you can't fix him, man. I think he's actually just broken.
Yeah. Oh man. Fired. Speaking about bad leaders. Oh. Ooh.
Oh,
I can't. I spoke it out
I
loud.
don't
It's
know
been
how he
said.
got.
I don't know.
I
I
don't know
just.
how he got there,
I
but
just
I
thought
do
of
want to say
like.
because we didn't talk about FlyQuest yet,
You
that
just.
much.
I just heard you say bad leader, and I just remember like I don't know. I just had flashbacks of Inspired just flaming his team after a loss and stuff, and I'm like, that's why Inspired is being held back, bro. Honestly, he was just
Unthinkable to say that.
not a dick to
Just
his team.
disable your. Yeah, don't be a dick. It's not that hard.
And
Well,
yeah,
for him, it's probably impossible. It's probably like a trial of Hercules for him.
but yeah, he's got to do it. He had no choice. He had to run it down.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's that friend who's like, you're like, hey, can you not flame the solo queue teammates
yeah,
because like we're just gonna lose if you make them mad, and they're like,
yeah.
no, dude, they're such animals, we have to flame
I
them. And I'm
have
like,
to, dude.
oh.
Chovy had to lock in Anivia. He had to do it. He had no choice. He had no choice. All right, let's. We're still talking about Chovy and choking and all this stuff, right? And Faker locking it in. I 100% agree with your point, where it does feel like Worlds is where all these players play worse, but I think it's not just T1 or not just Faker, it's all of T1. I genuinely think Gumayushi and Keria play so much better at Worlds. Like they play really well for a lot of the years, right? I actually think
Mhm.
like in that 2022 year when they lost in finals against DRX, that was like kind of the exception where I felt like T1 and Guma and Keria actually had a great year. That year they actually won an LCK split, their first LCK split in a winning a lot like since. That's the
That was
only LCK
the
split.
last one. That
That's
was
the last
spring.
one.
They run spring 2022,
And
right?
then they went to
And they haven't
MSI.
won
They
since.
haven't won
They've won more
since.
worlds than they've won more worlds than they've won LCK.
By a
Ah,
lot. By a good amount. By like triple. Yeah.
infinite if you count since 2022, considering they have never won. But yes, jeez. Oh my god.
Yeah. And it's like, I just feel like it's so true that they play at their level or above. Right? And it feels like every play. I actually feel this way about last year's BLG in Game 5. Like, if you look at the crazy highlight last couple fights, where it's like Faker on Galio, Bin on Jax in these fights, you actually sit down and slow down and analyze them. BLG is inting. BLG is making a lot of mechanical mistakes. Remember that fight where Galio is in top lane and he lives at 1 HP? And he like outplays them and he's like, he's alive, he stays alive, right?
Mhm.
What actually happens in that play is Faker Zonias and Jun mistimes his Jarvan E and doesn't hit him out of Zonias. That's just a simple mechanical misplay. If there's
Yep.
no pressure, Jun hits that 100 times out of 100 because he's done
100.
it. But it's World's Finals and he misses it. Also, um, there's a fight where like Knight is playing Ari in that game, right? He just like Ari double dashes immediately into a Galio taunt and just gets deleted. It's like, dude, he would never do that in a million years in a normal
No.
match, but because it's finals, he just double dashed into his death on Ari, and the fight is just over. And Jax is just jumping in like a madman, and it's just these things where it's like I so believe it. Like Baker is just cool, calm, and collected on Galio. He's just perfect timing his taunts and PC chains and combos and stuff on the big stage. On Silas is executing perfect. And it's just true, man. It's just so true. It's crazy.
Oh, Chovy just post. There's just a post on Reddit right now that says Chovy on Worlds 2025. This anxiety gets to me, and I start making misplays whenever we don't draft for late game. I tend to get anxious when we lack late game value or when the game's not going our way.
Did I not call it with the
Yep.
Azir
He
Oriana?
literally he literally said, and he also said, all things considered, I think misinterpretation of the Oriana Azir matchup was quite big for our loss against KT.
I
That was his
called it.
biggest challenge. Yeah, I mean, in real time, you were right. Holy
Oh
shit.
my god, that's insane. Wait,
Yeah, he got interviewed on Weibo. You can. It's not at the top of Reddit now,
am
but
I
I
not the
was looking
goat?
at Reddit.
Am I not
You,
the goat? I
damn brother.
I,
Jeez.
I predicted DRX by the way.
Yeah, that is true. I will never forget that either. Because I was like, what the fuck? What kind of take is that?
It's so random. It's a random ass take, dude. Yeah, I predicted it. Oh my god. Okay. Well, thank you, Chobi. Thank you. You know what? You've redeemed yourself in
Chovy.
my eyes. That's true
Oh
though.
my
But don't
goodness.
don't give his ear. Don't give his ear. Like I don't think no one's getting his ear in the finals. If either BDD or Faker gets Zier, someone made a big mistake. I honestly think the same thing about Talia, but I think Talia is just harder to. Someone's got to give something, right? So I think both Talia is gonna be an insta win. I think from Baker and beat. Yeah, let's talk about KT in the finals, um,
Yes.
and T1 and stuff like that. Um, I this is one of those finals where like it feels distinctly different from DRX because KT didn't struggle to get here. It felt like they cruised way up, right? This is actually I think people were saying KT is on the track for one of the most dominant Worlds wins ever if they win. If they
Yep.
win Worlds, period. 3-2, 3-1, 3-0, it's up there with one of the most dominant wins ever. If they 3-0, it is I think the most dominant ever. I don't think they're gonna 3-0.
They would tie in terms of record. So 15-1
Oh,
as KT did in 2015
2015. Yeah.
against was it RNG in the final that year or
Rocks are
sure. So 2015 was their most dominant, 15-1, and so KT has only lost one match so far. It would also be a one loss, but a 3-0 in the finals is different from a 3-1, right? So I would say that's the tiebreaker. So it would be the most dominant if they 3-0 T1, which still sounds like blasphemy to me, even though
gonna happen.
it is. It's like it's statistically possible, but like no, it's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen. I give it a 0%. I would bet a lot of
Oh,
money
you
on it.
actually think it's statistically impossible? Okay.
Well, yes, I do think so. I just don't think it could be a
That's
3-0.
fair.
I think it like I firmly 100% believe that Carrier bar Nico is a guaranteed win. So, that's it's
And there's
gonna
no way to prevent all of that from
I think
happening in that
it's gonna
game
be so hard to prevent.
once.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I think it's
Okay.
also prevent Faker from getting his ear and all this shit. Yeah, it's gonna be yeah, I draft stuff, right? Okay, so I wanted to talk about KT drafting. KT did a thing that I really liked, and I think it's something that like Gen.G is gonna kick themselves for, right? Is they just said, "F it, we're getting engaged in our top jungle guarantee some way, top jungle mid. We're playing to win bot lane." I think T1 kind of did the same thing. They like to play the enchanter support. Um, and this is just a trend that Carrier started from frickin' 2022. I guess Barrel started, right? Range support bot lanes actually always end up dominating the world's meta. Like this whole year was melee supports. And then now, because it's Carrier, we're actually getting range supports. Frickin' Kong was trying to play range supports. He was so bad at it because he knew it's carrier meta. Peter's playing range supports because he knows it's carrier meta. It's insane how much carrier warps the meta, but I think it's
Yeah.
just how it is. Carrier is way too good on support champs. Umayushi carrier way too good at winning lane. If you want to stand a chance, and you either got a lane swap, I think pretty big deal, to avoid these bad matchups. You got to play range versus range bot lane so you don't get blown up. In because for all intents and purposes, a melee support scales way better. You get to face check things, you get to fight, you get to engage and stuff like that. But Carrier
Hmm.
is just blasting things. So I think that's going to be the biggest question mark. We have two bot lanes that both try to play range support. They share a lot of the same picks. Go, um, Bard, right? Karma, Renata. They're also going to sharing AD carries, right? Both have shown their ability to play Ashe, right? And they also are going to play the meta AD carries. The bot lane is going to be, I think, biggest deciding factor at who wins.
I agree. I'm like thinking through it because I don't think Perfect's the type to get so bodied, and especially by Doran. But
Yep,
like in general, that like it would make a difference. I think the jungler matchup. I think cause it's a strong enough point that it's like it should not. Oh God, I pray should not be what we saw in the semifinals against top esports. So yeah, I do think it's down to bot lane, and I do think that on paper it's just it looks like a mismatch. TBH,
it
like a
does.
pretty big mismatch. But God, I like it's. I hope it's spicy. I hope it's like everyone just plays towards bot. We have a good old fashioned clown fiesta that we don't see as much anymore in the bot lane, and I do think I've always looked down on Duckdom, especially recently, because he just hasn't done it in DM Note, but he was very consistent. I agree. I think it's bot lane focus. What is your prediction though?
I think this is more Weibo gaming than DRX, if I'm being honest.
Oh,
I think it's a
oh,
3-0.
oh.
Yeah. I'm not convinced by KT's. It still feels fraudulent. Also, there's like that classic, I don't know, the meme. I'm breaking the fourth wall. It's like you don't trust in KT. And I guess I've never trusted in KT. And even at this point, they're the world finals. I don't trust KT. The only person I trust is BDD, but that's not enough. I don't trust Cuz. Okay, Cuz is in the same category of junglers, right? Only recently has he not been in the same category. But actually, for
Buzz
all of
Lightyear.
time, Cuz Lightyear is has been freaking. He is Blabber. He is the Kanavi. He is the guy that just loses his mind and runs it down. He's like so clean mechanically, insane carry jungle status, and he just ran it the fuck. Okay, I guess we lose. Like that just happens all the time to Cuz. Um, I just can't believe it. It's his first World Finals. I feel like all of them were playing so free, like against Gen.G. I think they're going to shit their pants in the finals. Their first finals for all these players. I think they're all going to be. I think finally the pressure will hit them and they'll be like, all right, we were playing pressure free against Gen.G. We literally never beat them. How funny it would be to win. To, oh my god, we're actually in the finals. What the hell? um, I think BDD will be insane. I think BDD will be really good. That'll be another big point, right? Can BDD out carry Faker? I mean, that's just a ridiculous sentence. No, nobody can out carry Faker. Yeah. I think it's 3-0 if I'm being generous, 3-1. I can't believe
I
they're
will add another element to this pressure. This isn't just like their first finals, or I mean, the first this org has ever gotten was quarterfinals that one year. They got boomed by IG in a 3-2 that was actually supposed to be a 3-0. Um, there's also the layer of this is a Telecom war.
Oh
KT versus
yeah.
T1 has always been cinema. I know a lot of people who don't watch LCK might not know. This is the most historic and storied esports rivalry in the world.
Oh
Period.
yeah.
Not just in League, in StarCraft, in multiple games across multiple titles. KT versus T1 has always been a thing. Some of the best players of all time in StarCraft were on KT or T1, and this or SKT T1, but like the same thing, right?
Yep.
So I think this adds pressure too, because it's always been cinema. Even when KT was like a dog shit team,
It's
like
true. Always
they like for
3-2,
some
right?
reason. the match comes out and then like it's close for some reason. The best of three is close, the best of five is close, and it's always fun to watch. Even the 3-0s feel close. It's like they play better when they play against each other. So I actually
It's
think it will make this match closer, but
oh, I
also way
hope.
more stressful. They can't just do a dog like it's not gonna be a dog walk like the Gen.G one where it's just like they I feel like they gained power from it. Now I will make an argument here. I think while it was a fraudulent run so far and it does have it smells a lot like Weibo, I think their run on paper was harder than T1's.
T1s on paper?
Yes. Yes. Go look at actually who T1 played and beat and didn't beat.
I
T1
mean,
had one hard matchup that they won against, which
it
was
was
AL.
Anyone Legends versus Gen.G. What is it? Just top esports. KT second hard.
KT beat CFO.
CFO. Okay, I guess T1 lost
And
to
CFO
CFO.
beat T1 and Gen.G beat T1 as well. Both teams like I because remember we didn't we kind of glossed over it in the group stage, but T1 was 2-2 guys. They were on Elam match point twice. They were 1-2 at one point. They lost to the Oysters,
I
who
would
got
say,
3-0'd
I would
by
say
KT.
on paper their runs were fairly equivalent. Equal Gen.G to AL. AL ended up
Yeah,
being way, way, way better. Gen.G ended up being complete frauds. On paper, though, Gen.G is better than AL, so I think their runs fairly equivalent. Yeah, but then
fairly equivalent. So, but
yeah.
then how can we say it's a fraudulent run then if
Well,
both
because
teams kind
on
of frauded
paper,
their way off?
it's fraudulent on paper. In reality, it's fraudulent as fuck. Because Gen.G choked their brains off.
Oh, okay, okay, because yeah, so reality is it's fraudulent. Yes, so if we're
Yeah.
talking reality, that's fair because AL did not choke
No, AL
and
was
they were playing
crazy
at a
good.
super high level.
AL has depending on if it's a Weibo type finals, AL was the second best team. If it's a DRX level, me actually get a 5 game telecom war. Fuck it, KT deserves it. Okay, KT was the second best team. I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it. I am going to not believe it until it happens. I like
I think even if it happens, I'll have to like triple check that I'm not like dreaming.
yeah.
Um, I want KT to win,
Wow.
but I don't know if I can in good faith predict them to win. Like if I did, it would be a 3-2.
I don't even
But if I
want them
want
to win. I don't want them to win.
I think it would be good for League of Legends if there's not a team winning 3 times in a row at Worlds. I think when you kinda inched into it where you're saying, like, the narrative keeps repeating, I think
It's
it's actually
true.
very bad for League to be like, "Oh, what happened again this year? Oh, Faker won again? Okay, cool. I'm not gonna tune in." Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
You could literally go undefeated up until Worlds, and then, like, if Worlds is the only thing that matters, which I think it used to be a meme. We used to say Worlds was the only thing that matters, but we did put weight behind, like, hey, RNG won MSI. Like Uzi's one of the best AD carries of all time. Like we said that, even though he's never won worlds. He's made it finals at least, but he's never won world. But I think by having it be that like worlds is still a spectacle, like Arcane season 3 was now, it's like all these things are all always coming out during worlds and all the attention's there. If it just keeps repeating the narrative, I think it actually we're like manifesting the fact that worlds is the only thing that matters. Like who won EWC this year? I'm like, who cares?
I
Like
don't even remember.
relative to that.
I don't remember who
I
won
don't
it.
either. That's why I also asked.
I don't remember
I
who
was
won EDC.
like I
I
watched and I don't remember.
I
Was it
bet it
Gen
was.
G
I
again?
feel like it was probably
I
Gen.G,
think it was.
right?
I think it was Gen G. But like, see, this is my point. I think it's very bad for the esport if a new person doesn't win.
Yeah.
I think that KT winning would just be fun. It's like this is a historic org, along with the Samsungs, along with the T1s. If we're just talking about League, this is a historic org that's always been the bridesmaid and not the bride or whatever the phrase is. I think it would be really cool. I'm not even like a KT fan by nature. I like think that they've been pretty silly with their roster construction for years, and this one getting to here is probably a fluke. But I mean, if the magic gets there and it's like the DRX thing, I'm happy for them.
You know what?
But if I
Yeah.
want T1, if I want KT to win, I should predict T1. But it's too late. I broke the fourth wall.
You did
Um,
break. You did.
I'm gonna predict them 3-2. I think
Predicting
this is what I
KT three.
want.
Holy.
On the premise that they've shown more form, period, this whole time.
Damn.
T1,
Damn.
actually, it's almost unfortunate for them. They had to play a best of 5 against top esports right
Damn.
before this. Like, truly did. I think if AL was the semifinals, we would be like T1's at peak form. They're like, they are on all cylinders. Like, damn, they played to a time. Like, do you think? I feel like playing as top Eastern might have a contagion effect. You might feel like you're like, "Oh, this worked. I guess I can play this or that." Like, for example, I called this out, and if we see in the finals and he plays poorly, I'm going to speak about it on end. Guma's Kaisa. He's won twice now in great dominant form against absolute monkeys and absolute terrible teams. Like, I don't like
He beat
it when a team
he beat AL. He beat AL with Kaisa.
did he?
Yeah, he destroyed Hope. Remember?
Oh yeah,
Hopeless.
again, but monkeys as in hope. Hope is a
But
monkey.
but they just but
AL,
and
yes, he beat
he
AL,
beat
but
AL. He
his
carried against
opponent was
AL.
Hope's Corky.
But we just said AL was a good team. We just said AL was the second
AL is
best
a
team.
good team, but the AD carry doesn't need to be a good player. So I'm saying it's a bad data point
That's
to have where
Cope.
you
That's Cope.
it's not
The
coach.
second best team has a very good ADC. Hope is a very good ADC. He got giga gapped because Kaisa was that good.
He gets giga gapped every time when it matters. He is a very good AD carry.
Eh,
It's not a coincidence that he was on the J2G super team or this team and they got this far.
yeah,
I agree. But in that match, I saw like no pulse during the Corky game at all.
yeah. But like he's still playing as for the this Kaisa was crazy that game. Crazy
It
good.
was. Like objectively he played a crazy game. I'm just worried that when you're actually playing against a competent AD carry, like you got a false signal that you can play this in like for example, Zillion, Bjergsen, into Jensen all the time. Just or not vice versa too. Just TSM and the Zillion pick. Yeah, they played against
Okay,
competitive teams.
all right. I'm gonna stop your argument right here. What's the difference between Duck Dam and Hope, bro? Before this tournament, Duck Dam was like
Duckdom
vastly.
has won.
Duck Dam is not hasn't won anything.
Has he not? I thought he
No.
got to. Did he not
Dokdam,
win
the
MSI?
farthest he's gone. No, Dokdam, the farthest he's gone is quarterfinals worlds on Donmon Gaming. Never even been to MSI.
That DWG year they won wasn't that. Oh, it was Ghost. I get them mixed up. Fuck.
Dokdam was only on Donmon for 1 year, and then he got sent to the Shadow Realm, bottom tier team, until this year. Been like years in a row. See, you know, you
How are
can't
they here then?
you can't do this. You can't do this to me. My memory for league stuff is unparalleled. It's like I would probably be better at other things in life if I didn't know. But I know this stuff. And yeah,
You're
no.
right. I
Doctum
just got
is
him mixed up with Ghost here.
infinitely worse than Hope. Infinitely worse. Only this year. Only this tournament. Only this last
In this
series.
tournament, he's been better, but agreed. His record, Hope is definitely a better player on the whole.
Yeah.
But does it matter though
Okay,
in
but
the tournament
it's
though?
not even in this tournament. I don't even think it's this tournament, right? Docdam played really well against a completely collapsing Gen.G, where Hope got bodied by the best team. You know, it's like where do you really? No,
Uh, okay, we can agree to disagree here.
agree to
I just
disagree. Fine,
when I
fine.
watched him play because I really why I was so high on like that specifically the Ash game. The other games that he didn't do that much. He didn't need to. He literally just like solo like just pushed into him. And like the confidence he played that character was like the most impressive thing I've seen. Now again,
Was
the other team was
confident as
collapsing.
fuck. He gave zero shits that he was playing against Gen.G. Like on the Caitlyn as well. His traps are perfect on.
His Caitlyn arguably along with BD were the only reason that it. I think his Caitlyn almost because it broke Cannon's back. The way the Caitlyn like he held under duress and did not like he's like, oh, I'm getting dove in by a cannon. He did not give a shit. He's like, oh, you what an idiot. I put a trap on your body. What are you gonna do? And it wasn't just that. He also did traps against the Scion. He did multiple traps where it was a super chaotic fight. And through the chaos, he's like, oh, I trapped Chovy, shot Chovy in the head, trapped Keenan or whoever. And he was consistent. I don't think I would ever like put my life in his hands to hard carry me on a
Dude,
mechanical right click 80 carry like Guma,
he
but
trapped. His biggest trap was trapping Kevin to predict KT. Like what the fuck?
uh
He
I
predicted
just
3-2
I
KT.
I I I want to manifest it. I think they need to win. It's actually very bad for the esport for the same team to keep winning
Yeah.
and only winning this. It would be really cool if they were Royal Roading or they won MSI or they won LCK. It's the fourth seed 3 times now. It's no longer special. And DRX one, I was like, this is amazing. And now I'm like, do regular seasons just literally not matter? Not it
Yeah.
used to be spring didn't matter. I'm like, does any season matter?
Nothing matters. Worlds just Faker. I don't give a
Just
fuck. I don't
all
care.
roads lead to Faker.
I don't like KT enough, okay? I really don't like KT at all, actually. The only player I like on KT is BD. I don't like. Okay, I like Peter for the memes. Peter's funny for the memes.
Peter Peter Parker versus Peter Griffin means actually making.
That's
I
funny.
saw a comment that said at least one Griffin player made it to finals,
Yeah, I saw
and I
that
was like,
too.
what?
That's
And I was
so
like, oh.
funny. I like it. It's a meme with depth. I like that one. But
Yeah, it has
I only like
layers.
BDD, and I only like Peter for the memes. I don't like Duck Dam. I don't like Cuz. I don't give a shit about Perfect, right? But
Yeah,
like this team to
I
me,
agree. I
I
also only
don't
like
care.
1.5 players on that team.
I
I like
don't
more
care
T1
about
players.
this team. I love DRX because Deft and Barrel
Death.
were awesome.
Oh,
Zeka was
yeah.
random. I didn't know who Zeka was. I didn't know who Kingen was. And Pioshik is a bottom feeder. I think it's so funny that he won Worlds.
Still a bottom feeder.
He's still he's like a 10th place level player and
Piotrek
he
has won
won
the same
Worlds.
amount of worlds as Canyon.
Pioshik has won more Worlds than Chovy. Chovy has like never gone 10th place in his life, dude. The worst Chovy has ever done is like 3rd place
I
domestically.
remember
Bro,
he's gone eighth a lot of times at worlds though.
yeah, that's true. Has
Oh
gone.
Jesus
But
Christ!
Pioshik gets 8th in the LCK, man. He gets
I
8th to
agree
10th.
with you. I agree, and he not just once. He was a bottom feeder, bottom six multiple times.
Dude, wasn't he on
Sixth to tenth.
he was on not Jin Air, he was on the other
Glad
bottom.
pain.
Which
Oh no,
one?
not Glad pain. Nongshim.
Nongshim, yeah, he was on Nongshim, fucking bottom feeding for so long, bro. On KT when they were bad, he was on so many
Piotrek
teams
has more
bad.
domestic victories than him though. Than Canyon though. Does
Playing
he?
for like 50.
Wait, I'm actually trying to remember how many times he won. Because he only won once with TL, right? Or twice.
Never won
Did he
with T.
even? Oh, then he has less domestic. I'm getting it mixed with
I don't think Pioshik has a single domestic title.
I don't think so then. If he didn't win it, then he definitely sure as fuck did not actually that makes that even more ridiculous that they won with that DRX roster.
He's never won a domestic title. I mean, neither is Kingen.
I'm very concerned about Worlds
Neither is
overshadowing literally
Zeka's
everything.
only won one domestic title since. It was after. He won in Honor Life
Yeah,
once.
I'm just getting it all twisted. I'm getting old.
You are getting old. I'm getting old too. Dude, we're all getting too old for this shit, man. I can't handle it anymore. I had the
This
biggest.
bullshittery where Faker's younger than us and he's still winning Worlds
Bro,
at
like,
this point.
watching T1 versus AL, like, I was having like multiple heart attacks. I was having like some fucking. I didn't know what was gonna happen, bro. I was like, this is like a.
That was it's still the best match I've seen in recent memory. That whole match was cinema.
So
I'm so happy that happened.
it was so good. Okay, and here's also a thing. Okay, this is what I want to say. I think DRX versus T1 was the greatest series of all time. Okay, because of
Agreed.
the hype and the stakes and just
The
the craziness,
storylines,
the
the
storylines.
retirement.
Guma,
Oh,
can he steal it? Right? But when I think about actually super high quality League of Legends, AL versus T1 like tops that chart. Like I think that is actually one of the most high quality Legends Pro matches. Another one is BLG versus Gen.G MSI 2024, right? These are like really high quality, high mechanical, high skill matches. But yeah, DRX versus T match in terms of hype. Not as good
agreed.
mechanically though. I feel like there's a lot of mistakes in that match that made it hype still. So many missed lights. Oh my god, pure life. But when it comes to just pure top tier gameplay, bro, AL versus T. God damn.
I
That
didn't think
shit.
I would see the peak of League from non-first seeds in a
Seriously.
quarterfinals.
Like third seed versus fourth seed, right? Or second seed versus fourth seed.
Don't hurt me like this.
First seed does not matter, bro. Like regular
First seed.
season does not matter. It just
We
doesn't.
should like do a review in the off season if first seed has lost more now than it has won.
It has because okay, unless you're faker.
Someone, unless you're Faker, yeah.
Don
But even
won.
so,
Okay, no, Don won. EDG won their first.
yes. FPX was first seed when they
FK.
won.
Oh, first seed actually has a lot of good.
Yeah, it's just IG was like the huge like where the fuck did
Yeah.
this come?
IG was
IG was
third
second
seed.
seed,
Second or
second
second. Okay. Samsung was
or
third
third.
seed.
Samsung was third seed.
SKT in 2016 was second seed. In 2016, SKT was either first or second seed. Samsung was SKT. Who were the Korean reps? It was SKT
Which year?
2016. SKT Samsung Galaxy finals. Oh, it was Rocks Tigers. Yeah, Rocks Tigers
It
semifinals.
was that legendary semifinals where they had the MF support and the Zyro supports and stuff,
The
right?
Ash and fucking yeah,
Yeah.
the
Where it's,
Arrow. So I
what
think
a good
SKT was
series.
either first or second seed that year. It had to be.
I think they were second. I think that was the year. Did Rocks finally win that year? I don't actually remember if they ever did.
20.
Because 2015 Faker was definitely first seed.
Yeah,
2014 Samsung White was not first seed, were they?
2016 summer
Or were
LCK. Uh, Rocks Tigers. Yeah, Rocks Tigers. So
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
first seed
so I
didn't
do remember
win. So first seed won in 2015 for T1
for
and
sure. T1.
2013 and so 2013, 2014, 20 were all won by the first. Oh no. Samsung White was second seed. Samsung Blue was first
Samsung
seed.
White lost to Blue. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I
So
said. Yeah,
so
14 was definitely
2013. Wait, 2013. Wait, T1 was not even the.
no. They were behind Najee and White Sword, weren't they? Or Najee was whatever the fuck they were called back then. Najee Black Sword or Black? Huh? It was a Najee because Najee was seeded into the round of 8 that year. They went directly into the top 8.
Oh no, wait. This is SK. Right.
But that doesn't make sense because T1 played through group stage that year, while Najee didn't need to. Oh, it was it 2014, 12? I'm thinking of that Najee was seeded. It might have been 2012.
2013 Ajin White Sheep. Oh, everybody played in group that year.
Okay, then it's 2012 because I remember there was a year where they were seeded, like Gamma Bears was seeded.
Uh,
Okay,
2013,
but
2012, SKT.
2013 he should have been first seed. And
20,
2012 was TPA's win, which was a first seed as well.
we're just going down the rabbit hole. Yeah, 2013 T1 won Summer and then won World.
It's just recent history though. It's been going downhill. The first seed's been less and less important. Maybe because people have just gotten better about keeping their. No, it's not even true. It's just Faker's
It's
gotten
just
better
T1.
somehow.
It's just Faker. Faker just comes in as not the first seed. That's just it. That's the one. He's
Faker
the
is
one
literally
breaking
like
the record.
he's a canon event. He comes in and he's just like, yeah, all the rules and all like the precedents like does not matter.
It doesn't matter.
But
It's the Faker precedent, biggest one, right? If Faker's not in the tournament, the first seed wins, right? It's FPX, it's EDG, it's Damwon Gaming, and then Faker comes in and he just fucks everything up.
it's like I do not care what your seeding is. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's
All
crazy.
right, so this year, KT, it's your chance. They're not a first seed though. Shit, it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
matter. Yeah.
Gen.G is already dead.
Wow. Yo, you remember, man, when KT picked T1? That was one of the telecom wars.
I do. I
Dude,
was saying like the timeline diverged ever since that point because that was when T1 then won
they've
it all
exactly
and became this
that
fuckery.
caused everything. That
And
that
that's
choice
what that's
caused
why
everything.
we're here. That snowball effect is why we are here
That's why
right
we're
now.
here. That's why they picked T1 so that they could face T1 in the finals of
The
Worlds
finals.
4 years later or whatever. Whatever
All
it was,
right, bro.
3 years
You
later?
gonna join the KT32 now?
No,
Train.
God no, God no. T1 won that one, bro. T1 won that shit. T1
uh,
won almost every telecom war in the modern era.
that is true. That is true. It's become much more one-sided recently.
It's a telecom slaughter, bro.
Oh yeah, it was KT. KT was the one that was the first seed that year in 2018 when they lost to IG.
Yeah, they were. Yep.
They're the super team with
That
Mata.
was with
Jeez.
Smeb. Yeah.
Okay, we gotta close it out, brother. It's been
It's been a
the longest
long
podcast we've
episode.
ever done.
I have not been keeping track. I don't even know how long we've been going.
We're
It's been,
at 3-ish hour, three and a
what
half
the fuck?
almost.
I've been streaming on Twitch the whole time with the wrong title. I've been saying
That's
I'm playing
okay.
I've been saying I'm playing ARAM. It's okay.
I mean, sometimes when you're podcasting, I mean, we have been discussing ARAM basically. If we're discussing how some of these games went, but that's
Yeah.
okay. The League of Legends has just evolved or devolved, depending on who you ask, into ARAM. After like, how many split push wins have we actually seen? Okay, actually, I do need to get this off my chest. Who the hell drafts Yorick Anivia and doesn't split push?
I don't know, man. Their first timing, I don't know. Like it's not like it was his Keen's first Yorick game. Too. Yorick was meta this
No, it's been meta. It sounds like it's not meta, but it's meta.
year. They just forgot, man. Forgot.
And strangely enough, I will say, although I've been flaming Chovy and he did play off, I do think there were plays when he was playing Anivia that game where he held a lot of space. I saw the vision. He did a lot of damage, but I'm just like, no, I mean, this is just not the right. This is just,
they
you're too far gone.
Yeah. Also, like, I hate it. I hate it that they chose an elimination match to play uncomfortable champion. Like, oh, yeah, I want to go over this game four draft. Okay.
Okay.
So, um, I think we talked about game three and how the first pick is zero was a big mistake, and then Chovy heard the podcast. He saw that I went live, and he's like, yes, Mitchell. Um, so
Doing you solids. Yeah.
yeah. He's doing me a solid. So Canyon, right? Okay, in game four, they first pick Skarner, right? Because KT they triple ban or they double ban junglers, Gen.G bans Trundle, and they first pick Skarner. All right.
Mhm.
I do think that was kind of a mistake. Like I don't like the first pick Skarner. A because Skarner's not very good champion, and B because um yeah, I mean they just pick a any jungler that clears faster than Skarner really screws it up. So the Mundo, right, cuz an actual Mundo player is just gonna outpace the Skarner. But there are so many champions that you could play here against the Skarner that'll just get a lead in jungle that I mean I think it's just a big deal, right? It's just like Canyon has just been struggling the whole series. You don't want to put him in a deficit start. And that's exactly what happened, right? Behind the whole game has had crazy tempo, picking up all the objectives, right? Um, that's one thing. The second thing is Keen has been a monster team fighter. I don't think you put him on split. That's just like I feel like a
It just doesn't
conceptual.
play to his strengths at all, right? There's no. It doesn't. You put him on split push and didn't use him, so he still used his strengths of team fighting,
Yeah.
but then didn't play any of the team fighters. It's very strange to me.
I think even if Gen.G played the push comp correctly, I still wouldn't have liked it. Like just play team fights. Still, like yeah, you guys messed up some team fights in the last couple of games, but actually in game three you didn't even get the chance to play team fights. Every game you got to play team fights, it was close, right? Game one you barely lost, but at least it was close in team fights. Game two you won and it was close in team fights. Game three you didn't even get to scale, right? And I think game four they didn't even give themselves a chance to scale into team fights. So here's what yeah, let's just say right the draft goes, you pick Skarner, the enemy, they go, what do they go? They go Mundo Callista, and then you pick Lucian Braum, and then they finish with Renata. Okay, let's say that that draft stays the same. I don't love it. I
Mhm.
don't like the Lucian Braum because you're already picking a losing matchup, by the way, into Callista Renata. You're opting into a losing matchup. I think it's just a mistake from Jin. But what are you going to do, right? You got to pick a bot lane. So this is what they do. I think the B4, B5 of Yorick and Nivea was so random and unnecessary, right? So what does BDD do? BDD in R4 he picks Cassiopeia blind. Why does he do that? Isn't that kind of a weird choice? Just blind Cassiopeia. You almost always pick Cassiopeia as a counter pick to Rise, and almost never do you pick it in any other situation.
I thought he picked it to deny, right?
Yeah, so that is my that was my idea. I think so. I agree.
Mhm.
He picked it to deny Chovy because it's the one champion that can DPS a Mundo and also can be strong if they want to pick the Ornn, which they end up picking R5, right? I think that
Yep.
makes sense. I think it's super half baked though, right? Because okay, so they do ban the Hui, which is great, but like Chovy's Anivia, I mean, it wasn't good enough because I think Anivia is just not good enough champion that tanks. It doesn't kill Mundo but it is good to Cassiopeia. But like, what if Chovy did and Gen.G they didn't go crazy and lose their minds? What if they just picked Victor? Like Victor is the next normal meta champion. Once you get past Talia, Orianna, Azir, like you just pick Victor, right? Victor's been that champion all year long. That is just that's what you pick in R4 or R5 and game 4, game 5. That's what Faker did. It's the most normal thing. Victor outranges Cassiopeia, okay lane, and can actually deal with tanks. I thought it was crazy they didn't pick. I also think it's crazy that they just didn't blind pick the Ornn. Like just take Ornn for Kassan or for Keen. It's the next meta top laner. Once you pick Sion and Cassante and Renekton and Ambessa are all gone, the next person on the list is Ornn, and I actually think it was the best champion team. I think like Gen.G overcooked when they could have just played standard meta and probably won better draft. It's crazy to me that. I also think like they could have picked Mel too. Mel would have been a way better pick than Nivea. It would have
Has
also.
Chovy played Mel?
I don't think Chovy's played Mel, but Baker's
At least
playing
on
Mel.
stage, I've never seen him play it.
He's never played it, but like not that hard. Also, he has to have played it in scrims, right? If Faker's playing it as well.
It has to have, right? It's
It's
also
his
just
first.
a good character.
It's his first Anivia as well. There's no precedent for him to play Anivia. The only player that to play Anivia and win was Caps. He did it against a shitty ass BLG. It's a fake pick.
Caps contributed to the Gen.G downfall. That's
He
all
did.
I'm hearing here.
He did 100%. I mean, Caps also contributed to one of T1's losses as well when they picked it. Um, I also think yeah, the Ziggs as well is like something that I'm surprised Chovy never played Ziggs mid because you can actually play Ziggs mid and it's really good. Knight played Ziggs mid early in the tournament and it looked really like everybody
Yeah.
thinks you have to play Ziggs ADC, but you can flex it mid. APA was onto something. That champ is broken.
It's
Ah,
been busted for so long. It's just people don't like to play it because it's passive or whatever. But it has a global that does like half an 80 carries health in the center
bro.
if you CC.
Yeah, it's true. It's passive, but people play Victor and they go Archangel's fucking Rod of Ages. People play Roa, Archangel's Brianna, man. There's a lot of passivity. I think people are dumb. I think you should just play the Ziggs. Anyways, I think Gen.G royally, like the coaches, fucked everything up in that Game 4 draft. Don't pick Yorick and Nibia. Just play Victor Ornn. It's the most meta shit you could think of, and it's the best thing there for sure.
So many times I feel like when the fate of the universe is on the line, people just don't have faith that they can. Like the good team doesn't have faith that they can play what makes sense. They get like I think you should get cute with it if you're a huge underdog. I am strongly of that belief. Don't play standard if you're just worse,
Yeah.
right? But I'm like Genji's not worse. What are we doing? It looks so lost when they were playing this.
Just play meta, bro. Just play meta. I mean, also uh, like, yeah, they just lost all confidence against KT of all teams. They just lost all their confidence, and they thought they had to play
After
all these
losing
weird.
confidence to KT,
You know,
my God,
crazy man. KT just, I feel like they just played really normal, solid, just that classic LCK League of Legends, man. Just macro heavy, strong team comp, good laning, fight, win the game, boom, bang, boom. Yeah, nah, it's gonna be a
except for BDD who played like an absolute monster in game one,
yeah.
especially that I will. Oh,
Jonas
Yone is
crazy.
such a hard character to play, and so if you can play at that level, you get all the
Oh,
flowers. You
I
get bragging rights for at least a couple years.
there's another thing too, right? It's like is Chovy insane on Yon? Chovy
Yeah,
like
theoretically,
really good on these champions. Like imagine a world where Chovy got a Zero, Chovy got Yon, Chovy's playing like a Kali or something, and we give him stuff to do. But instead, he's fucking pissed off. He's this bad matchup, Orianna into a Zero, right? It's like Victor in a Zero. Like yeah, Victor wins lane, but then a Zero just scoops you, got your flash burn. It's like I feel like they never let Chovy just play the matchup that feels good. You know, sucks. Sucks. Same with
they're
Ruler.
just too talented. They're too good, so they're like you kind of get the an embarrassment of riches. You have so many choices in the draft, so they're like, yeah, I can pick this, and I'm like, no, dude, just don't,
No,
just don't.
just pick a winning matchup for your bot lane. Why are you picking Lucian Braum into Kalista Renata? Like, just fuck them, right? You just play something that wins lane. I guess Kalista Renata is pretty good when Ashe is gone. But like in
That's
previous
also true.
matches, play
Fearless, damn. Yeah.
it's fearless. But like they're playing Sivir Leona into Ashe Lulu, just get fried. They get completely cooked. Such a losing lane. Game one, right? They're playing Caitlyn Nico. They're playing Porky Rakan into Caitlyn Nico, and they don't lane swap. It's just a giga losing lane. It's so brutal for them. Ah, Gen.G. Shouldn't have gone out like that. I hate it. I wouldn't have minded if they
Yeah.
lost and it felt like they played well and better. That would have felt nice. That would have been okay.
That's my favorite kind of league. Yeah, that's like what's worth watching.
I would
But
actually be rooting for KT right now. I would
KT has
genuinely.
pretty much just stomped everyone put in front of them, and they all played worse. And I also say if KT does win it all, we'll one last thing from my end at least. CFO, I may have judged you too harshly. You guys were actually pretty good this tournament. Doggo, that Draven game was generational. Honestly, like I was
Done.
flaming T1, but like Doggo, damn, you just like solo killed Torin, to be fair, and like played like an absolute fearless Draven player, and I was very impressed.
Oh yeah.
Just unfortunate
Shout
they
out.
that they just played against the best team in the world, KT. Yep.
What the fuck? What the hell, man?
This is why
Yeah,
best of ones plus best of one Swiss as well as single elim best of five is just really cursed sometimes.
it is. Yeah, it is. It makes it for really hype storylines, but like we already know if it was double elim, Gen.G.
Absolutely, absolutely. Chobi's not as stressed out if he thinks one series doesn't end his like career.
He can get his choking out. He
It's like
doesn't
they,
get
they
a
lost in the
chance.
upper bracket for LCK literally this year and then won the thing
Yeah,
again.
yeah, yeah. I
They lost to
don't.
KT in the lower bracket or
Yeah,
upper bracket.
there was double elim and MSI and they won. Even though they never fell down, they always had that like safety net in their brain. Psychology, bro.
Yeah, maybe I'll go all the way around and just say single elim is better for determining who's the actual greatest all around clutch and blah 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 player. I don't know. Like
Uh,
is Faker if there was double elim? Maybe not.
I'm curious. Yeah, that's a crazy idea. I am so down to try at least one double. See it. Let's see what happens. Can we throw Chovy in there? Does. Holy. All right. This has
Yep.
been the longest podcast ever. I've been live on Twitch for the longest I've ever been. Kind of crazy. It's mistitled, but don't worry. We're gonna be clipping it and shipping it. I am only like partially employed, so I'll be editing hard. Maybe fun podcast and good to get all the thoughts out. Good talking to you, Kevin. Kev Dog. It,
Man, it was also good catching up with you, Mitchell. Behind the scenes, like yeah, we've been talking, of course, all year. Just like man, it's been tough, but we've never missed a year of LCS, so we will be here for LCS.
LCS is back, baby. Also, realize K and KT stands for Kevin, doesn't it, Kevin? That's why you're a fan of
Kevin's team roster.
that. You son of a bitch. All right, that's gonna do it for us on the podcast. Trying to be too toxic. Episode. Peace.